Okay, that's weird. I'm gonna leave the game
The
again.
secret technique is just threatening the stream. You just have to tell them that you're going to shut it down, and then it will finally learn to behave and go back up.
Yeah, that seems to be the case.
I'm wondering if this is happening because of us being too many on the table. No, this is definitely something going very wrong on my side of things, but people can actually hear me and you can hear me, so I do have a connection. So there's something awfully wonky. Let's just very quickly take a quick look at the situation on the other side of things. And I'm just gonna be refreshing things furiously just to see what's going on here. Maybe it's just JNet that's crashing. Apologies for everybody waiting for the stream to appear. There seems to be a technical issue. I got tagged. Very, very likely, to be honest, you know. If you think that this is happening, it's probably happening. Trying furiously to fix things, and in the meantime, what else can we tell you?
We can tell you that the game is still doing the same thing as before. Gagarin is installing things, Wizard is destroying them, Wizard's on 20 credits, 2 crowdfundings, a blue moose, so yeah, the circle of life goes on.
This is the Netrunner radio right now, that's basically what it is.
Exactly, we are doing live commentary from the football stadium or radio or something like that.
And in the meantime, I'm just going like, what the hell is going on? But no, everything seems to be working okay on this side, at least on the internet side of things, okay? So I assume there was basically an issue with me doing something with JNet that JNet didn't like. Apologies for that to everybody. Still trying to get back into the game. Might take a while. But we're trying. Please don't send any booms in the meantime. Huge apologies to everybody. And I do hope that this is the only technical issue we have this weekend with streams in general, because tomorrow there's going to be the Intercontinental stream, and that's going to be a biggie as well. So, what can I say? Should I just clear cache and cookies and hope for the best? I cannot basically enter any table right now, it seems.
Have you tried
I'd say,
Shift
I guess
F5 or something to do a hard refresh? Maybe sometimes that helps.
Oh wait, no, actually I cannot only enter that particular table. Okay, so I just...
You're actually still marked by me in the top right as an active spectator of this game. So there might definitely be some disconnect issues.
Yeah.
We actually chose the perfect game for this too, because it's a mirror match. So even if one of those players is going to win...
Yeah, people just won't notice if we just drop back in game 2.
Well, this is what happens.
I mean, people probably won't notice on turn 1 either, because Wizard's board state barely has changed. Gagarin repeatedly gets their stuff trashed.
I would completely share the screen with me going like, I'm trying to get into places. Okay, so, should we just go into a different table then? Because I should be probably able to jump into a different table, which is a very bad thing. But let me just see if, for example... who do we have here? I don't know. I'm trying to see if, for example, table 2. I'm trying to... Yeah, I'm in table 2. Would you like to jump into table 2 then? Apologies, huge apologies to the folks on the other table. I'm gonna be basically going back to your game. I did all the control F5s I could. I did everything I could. I cannot get back into the table. JNet hates me. Which also shows up very often in my career on JNet when I play a corp deck and then the runner sees 7 of my 10 agendas in the first 15 cards. But that's a different story. We're here on the table with Whiteblade 111 and Sir Loading. So we have a Liza, Talking Thunder, Kaboom, speaking of boom, and the Scorpius we've seen before. We're gonna see if Scorpius has a chance here. How exactly do you expect to win this with? Is this some sort of a... Do you think it's a multi-axis Liza or something else?
I mean, judging from the fact that it's Whiteblade, it's probably more likely to be the multi-axis Liza than the DLR Liza, because I think he's at least won some nets. Was it US nets with counter-surveillance Liza back in the day? But right now we're just seeing one tag, some wireless net pavilion, so something to protect the resources, and the rogue trading to gain money and gain even more tags.
Yes, I believe Whiteblade also played a counter-surveillance Zaya in the Continentals, right? So he definitely seems to be loving that card.
Yes.
Yeah, Byron, Sir Loathing actually asking in the chat right now, what's the cheap way to get rid of this pad tab, which annoyingly is basically, yeah, dripping money every turn for the Liza, at least most of the turns. And Whiteblade is confirming that the ability on the pad tab, which the corp is using, is legally distinct from actually just trashing it with basic actions. So it will actually be 1 credit cheaper than trashing it normally because of the wireless net pavilion. Also, despite it not actually showing up, wireless net pavilion actually is unique, which I believe is a change that happened at some point. I don't actually know when. Unfortunately, I don't think there is a reprint which actually has the diamond in its art, right?
Yes, for wireless net pavilion. Oh, I think there actually is. There is a full bleed version. Since what deck was it? There's definitely a full bleed version of wireless net pavilion around, I think. So I think that one has the unique diamond, because this was an errata that happened later on. That actually made the card unique.
Yeah, very much deserved. So I don't want to have to pay 8 credits to trash a single asset.
Yes, it changes quite a lot of things when the certain errata that happened over time that were actually functional are not applied, because then you actually can install multiple wireless net pavilions and make the corp pay 8 credits or play 3 Astro scripts or what else do we have? There's one more errata I'm missing. There have been certain errata over time that have made cards definitely less potent.
I can't put my finger on one right now either. There's been that weird Data Raven errata which changed the name to Funhouse and made it significantly worse.
Yes, that is also true, or significantly better, depending on what side you're looking at it from, because if you're playing against Jasminder, you're pretty happy.
That is true, actually. Oh, and yeah.
There we go. It seems Whiteblade has just gotten all of their damage removal or damage protection removed and just got killed by an high profile target.
That was indeed a brutal Wayland move. Let's try and see if we can get into the other game again. If we can't, jump into Percomus. Eternal Table 1. It seems to be working. There's a reverse, so we're back. And now it's Percomus on Wizard. I'm not even gonna ask him who won the first one, but I'm gonna actually ask who won the first one. If that's not a big deal for them, of course. And they're people who know each other and they've been playing against each other for a while. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna be fine with telling us. Hopefully, maybe, perhaps.
I think this should be fine.
Okay, so yeah, so we did have indeed a Wizard win. Let's see if that happened, if that's going to happen again. Sorry. Okay, over to the two of you, and I'm again on the navigational side and breaking stuff in the background because I can.
Yes, and we do actually see a few very, very interesting new cards out of this Gagarin build. Urban Renewal we can see on the board. Actually never seen this card played, so it's basically, yeah, it has 3 counters on it, which are slowly ticking down with each turn, and once it empty, it deals 4 meat damage to the runner.
Yes, it is not technically lethal at this point, it's just 4 meat damage. But who knows what this corp has planned to maybe convert it into a kill later on.
I mean, the contract killer is right next to it. It's not like they're trying to hide it. I assume that some kind of contract killer kill is probably happening. I would assume probably with a dedication ceremony in it as well, to maybe be able to do something else during the kill turn. But yeah, I'd be interested if you have some other kill threats in this deck as well.
Yeah, I think they definitely are, but the question is whether we'll get to see them. Well, it seems Perkamus is deep in the tank, thinking about how much to care about this urban renewal. Whether just trashing the contract killer is enough to be safe. And as you can see in chat, he seems to feel that Asger just found one of the few lines where he can actually win this matchup.
Yeah, Wizard has already spent all their credits. According to the chat log, it looks like they were spent on trashing a Mamba temple.
Yeah. And one thing to note, I think they did some yeah, the first click wasn't actually spent. The first click was run on server 3. And yes, as we can see, this hive here with 5 subroutines actually keeping the runner out. The runner taking 1 brain damage, as a result, losing access to their medium. And deciding
Yeah,
to
they
keep on running.
did have the 2 other breakers in the bin, but unfortunately not the paperclip to actually get through this hive.
Yes. And actually deciding to draw a card instead so they are not able to install the crowdfunding actually. Since they only made 2 runs, and oh, there we see an SIU. So
I see tagging is happening over here as well.
this might end up being a problem for Perkamus.
Tags, Urban Europop, and yeah, credit,
high
HPT.
profile target. Yeah, there we go. So rough game for Perkamus here.
Yeah,
Not
2
getting-
games we saw in like less than 2 minutes, which both ended with a high profile target.
HPT OP, please ban. So we have a sweep by Asger on table 1. Table 2 was also a sweep, so let's just jump very quickly out of this and try and see another table. Pick and choose, we still have table 3, 7, 5, and Terraphysis game, which is a number of a table as well. Also table 6 as well, but let's try and see people we haven't seen on the stream yet, maybe. If
Yes,
that's
I think,
possible.
I believe table 4 features 2 players we haven't seen yet.
Table 4, that would be Terraphysi and the expert of certain things. That shall not be named. Okay, let's just jump in. Well, here we are. Oh wow, removed from the game 15 cards in there. Okay, that's...
Blue Moose has been doing quite some work, it seems, in this game.
Empty,
So
I'm
we
Wekundu. Okay, I'm shutting up. Gentlemen, it's over to you. All yours.
So we are seeing a completely set up wizard here with a Desperado, 2 crowdfundings ticking, a Bagat on the table, an ice cover to make breaking ice actually viable as an unarc, and Empty is just doing empty things and install advancing something in the server too. There are 2 NGOs in the archive, so this might as well be an NGO. This deck also seems to be playing bio walls, so a lot of installable or like installed advanceable threats here on the corp side. And Terrificity running the server makes MT just block down 1 more piece of ice, which happens to be an Excalibur.
Oh,
So,
very interesting.
no more runs this turn.
Yeah, so this probably implies, that is very, very likely not to be an agenda. Otherwise, we'd have to look for another game again.
But now the question becomes, how can Terrificity deal with this Excalibur? Because with the Thimberic Rest on board, I would guess that that border control will find its way onto the remote, and once something is in that remote, it will probably be able to get scored with the combination of Excalibur firing and border control ending the run.
Yeah, yes, that's very true. That's a very, very strong combo to try to definitely keep the runner out. You would have to have... Yeah, I'm not sure if this wizard features any way to actually get into that server once that is set up.
Yeah, but
However, they are on 6 points already, so just trying to get the last points of R&D, which actually only features 9 more cards for the Corp.
that is a good point. This game seems to have gone on for quite some time, so if we expect the Corp to be on 9 or 8 agendas, likelihood is quite high that some of them are either an HQ or an R&D.
I have to say, this looks like the quote-unquote fairest match I've seen so far. No shenanigans on either side.
Yeah, just a lot of cards removed from game. 17 from the runner side, 2 Jacksons, 1 preemptive action on the corp side. Now we see Bugger trashing a card and excess over border control. Let's see what card was trashed. Just
Just a hedge fund. Yeah, money probably isn't something that the Corp is going to be needing that much more this game. Probably only going to be using, I'd assume, no more than 1 empty trigger this game. Maybe 2. So at most 2 eyes to res. Most of their agendas seem to either be Niseis or stuff like SSL, which would then again refund them the money in some way, shape, or form.
Now we've seen inside advance in server 2, but no border control, no end-to-run effect inside, so the likelihood of this actually being an agenda is pretty slim, so most likely to be a bio-vault, I would guess at this point, since...
I'm not so sure about that, because they could always just install the border control from hand with the MTI trigger.
Oh, that is obviously true, but Terrificy has found an SSL endorsement from R&D, actually breaking the DNA trigger with 9 credits to just sniff out that SSL from top of R&D. So
yeah, very cheap, just 9 credit break.
Good game to Terrificy.
Looks brutal, but if you're dripping 4-5 each turn, plus Desperado, you're probably are actually fine with paying that much to break.
Okay, that was table 4. We still have table 5, 3, 7, and 6 going. Pick a table. Let's see if I can hack into it.
I'd say then just... have we seen... No, we have seen table 3 already. We've also at least seen one of 2.
Let's go to table 7. Let's take a look, if that's
yes,
okay.
I think they haven't been featured on stream yet.
Exactly, and we're going to see them in action as well. We have Personal Evolution versus Max. That's an interesting matchup for sure, especially in Eternal. And by the way, for anybody wondering if my wallpaper here says hack the planet, no, it does say hack the planet. It doesn't say hack the plane. That's just the cards obscuring it, okay? That's it. Over to the commentators. Thank you so much, by the way, for taking the time to commentate. I really do appreciate it. You're doing an amazing job. Let's keep going. And chat, are you asleep or what?
So, in this case, we see a Fall Guy on the table, and we see a DLR in heap already, so this seems to be a DLR max. But, on the other side, being a Personal Evolution, which, at least in the current standard meta, is the bane of Max's existence. In this case, Max does have access to a Levy, which alleviates the problems of milling yourself quite a bit. But still, this Max will have to do quite a lot of work to be able to not die against PE. And now here we see the run on the central that allows the install of Data Leak Reversal and the Joshua B, which gives 1 more click if you're okay with getting a tag for doing so.
Yes, this deck obviously is very, very okay with getting that tag. The thing that's very interesting here, they don't actually have Wireless Net Pavilion on the table yet. So even with the trash prevention from the Fall Guy, it would only cost the Corp 2 clicks and full credits here to get rid of the Data Leak Reversal, which, when you're already sitting at 15 credits, probably is fine to do.
Yeah,
so I wouldn't be surprised if they get rid of that here.
And I would expect to see the Data Leak Reversal actually only being activated once more Fall Guys and Wireless Net Pavilions hit the table, because Joshua B does say you may gain 1 click, and if you do, you take 1 tag. So the runner can decide to just not take that click and also not take the tag.
That is true. They probably are going to be waiting it out here. PE is once again, I believe we've seen this in about half of the matchups so far at least. Corps just going horizontal as much as they please. Seems to definitely be the theme so far.
Yes.
Obviously, all of the horizontal, or at least most of them, we've seen so far have definitely all been of different flavors. there has been both harpsichord and to an extent also sports metal, which is looking to spam out agendas to actually hopefully have the runner access them and gain value that way. Then we have the style of Genteki PE, which is looking to play the most traditional form of shell game, which is actually just, is this a trap or is this an agenda? And we've also seen the other style of asset spam in the form of this Gagarin, which isn't really looking to hide what it's installing, but just installing so much of it that you're probably not going to be able to get after it. But yeah, we can see the mechs actually now setting up the board in the way that you were describing. There's still only one fall guy on the table, but we do have both the paparazzi to help against possible meat damage threats, which we've actually seen so far. There has been a clearinghouse trashed. And we also see the wireless net pavilion, so getting rid of this data leak reversal now will definitely be very, very expensive for the Corp. 8 credits from how it's looking right now.
Yes, and here we see a Sting scored, which hits away 2 of their cards. One from Personal Evolution, which is a data leak reversal, and one from Sting.
Okay, so this is actually the last data leak reversal on the table, and we do see the fall guy in the bin as well. Usually max has enough recursion, but there are certain assets, most notably Blacklist, which can stop any cards in the bin from being used, or rather leaving the heap. So this might be a tech card which could come in very clutch here for tech gen. I'm very interested to see how this is. Yeah, Astrobag actually feeling forced to draw up to 5 cards, actually 6 cards, and discarding one of their breakers, in hopes to avoiding dying more or less randomly to some of these face down cards from the PE deck here. And only getting to click DLR once here. That's an... We see an early Spin Doctor use here, hoping to... Maybe they have search effects in their deck, which they're hoping to be able to fetch out this clearinghouse with.
Yes. So Clearinghouse is an interesting card. I guess in this PE deck it hides itself under the guise of being an what's it called again? Urtica Cipher or some other form of trap like Cerebral Overwriter, which the runner does not want to access, and then instead
There's
it
also
turns
the
into being a
very, very
clearinghouse.
classic Junebug, which they could still play.
Is Junebug actually still legal? I
believe we are playing Eternal.
Sorry, yes, you are definitely correct. In this case, we are definitely playing Junebug.
I don't know, maybe it costs 8 points
Yeah.
or something like that.
For a second, I forgot what format we are streaming here on.
Can happen.
So many things to juggle, so many results to enter, and then try to speak in a cohesive way can be a struggle sometimes. So here we see an account siphon from the runner, which should also tell me that this is not standard actually. So trying to get rid of the economic advantage, or like the economic side of things on the corp side, to maybe make your life a bit more difficult.
Yes, Max has access to all of their breakers, and with 16 credits is more than likely to get this to land. Actually, not even bothering to res this. Most likely valuing the rest of their econ more than just trying to protect themselves from this one run.
But there's a second run.
Wow.
Coming from the same old thing.
Well,
so
yeah.
At this point, though, the corp might still be able to dodge some of the siphon credits by simply resing their stuff, but they decide not to. So down to 3 credits they go, and up to 36 goes the runner.
Yes, a small loan, basically, just a nice little padding over there in the money department.
Yeah, a small little bit to the side. In case you might need to, I don't know, install a breaker or something. Just in case. But I guess at this point, it's more important to keep the corp from having credits. Because having credit means that forcing resource trashes actually becomes an option. So at this point, trashing the Wilders Net Pavilion takes 8 credits, I guess. Because you are trying to trash it 2 times. One time the fall guy prevents it, one time it gets trashed. And then you can actually trash the Data Leak Reversal, which is doing a good job of putting corp cards into the archives.
Yes, we see Max doing the Max thing, keeping on recurring all of their things.
I do wonder though what this HQ ice is that just didn't get rest at all during this game.
It's probably something very, very cheap. A usual suspect would be, oh, it's envelope. I would have suspected something like Cortex Stock probably.
Yes.
Which at only 2 cost probably wouldn't have done much if rest, in terms of trying to dampen the economic hit from the account siphon.
Yeah. But I guess with the speed that this Eternal format has, a card like Envelope is actually pretty good because face checking a barrier typically would be something that the runner might be able to take, but in this case it just takes 1 net damage and might make it a bit harder. Obviously in this board state this is not the case, and the runner being on 32 credits means that they can run through this envelope quite a lot before they have to consider any sort of economic alternatives.
Yeah, the game does look very, very max favored right now, because 32 versus 0 credits does look very, very nice for them. But it's very important to mention that right now, at least, they only have a total of 8 cards remaining, split between stack and grip. So PE might be able to run them out of cards with a lucky hit or 2 if they are hitting one of their last recursion engines.
Yeah.
We can see 2 Deja Vu, 2 Same Old Thing. I'm not sure how many Levi's they are playing.
The third Deja Vu just hit the bin, so they're just...
They must be holding on to the third Same Old... No, actually, there isn't anything left, right? 3 Same Old Things. Team Deja Vu. Yeah, okay.
They might be playing Laborites, but in that case they haven't milled a single one of them, so it might just be that Max has run out of cards at this point.
This has become quite the race now.
Obviously, if they at some point run archives and try to steal agendas, they can decide which ones to steal first. So if there is a way to get up to 6 points, up to 7 points, they can decide the order of excesses so that they can avoid to die before winning. But at this point, just hitting the artillery reversal button and hoping to mill out the corp, it seems.
Yes, very much a race right now. I wonder what all of these face downs are. There might be quite a combination here, which could prove deadly. Maybe some combination of Ronin with a dedication ceremony in hand and some bioethics could actually cause quite the trouble for Max here.
Yeah, and especially Stings being in the game means that each copy of Sting that is in archives does 2 net damage. So not winning the game probably means death if a run in archives happens. Also to note that is that the corp seems to be on Spin Doctor as one of those cards is in the remove from game area. So
oh, that is true. So they have right now it does look like they only have 2 turns remaining, but those Spin Doctors could definitely extend that by 2 more turns.
Though the problem is that Spin Doctor actually draws cards when rest, so...
Oh, right.
In these kind of situations, it is card neutral, which means that the Atlas League Reversal might just be able to take the game here. We will have to see whether Techkin remembers to res the Spin Doctor in the correct window, and also if the runner grants them that window. If not, I'm certain an undo will probably be able to be done, because the Spin Doctor needs to be resed before R&D hits, or at the point where R&D is down to 2 cards.
Yeah, exactly.
So at this point,
I mean, we are just firing straight through that. Maybe they just rest 3 museums here and Renner looks really stupid. But no, that's unfortunately not the case. There was a spin doctor on the table, but yeah.
But I actually would guess that the spin doctor would only delay the inevitable because putting back 2 guards means they've got this round, and afterwards they're still once again in the same position as they were in the beginning of this round. So even a res of the spin doctor at 2 cards would mean that this game gets prolonged only 1 more turn.
That is true. Actually, if it weren't for the paparazzi, which is on the table right now, server 9 could have been something like a clearinghouse, which, if they do get that extra turn, they could triple advance that. And I believe it actually does fire before draw, right? Or does start of turn happen after draw?
That should be correct. Start of turn happens before the mandatory draw happens, so you are correct on that one.
I'm going to be the brutal person saying this is all really cool and we could be what ifing and whatnot, but there's still a game on table 6. Jump in. Oh, they just finished. Sorry, never mind. Forget about it. You wins by agenda. Okay, I'm jumping out. Table 3 seems to still be on unless I'm completely wrong. They're still on and oh geez, no, they finished. Okay. I mean 7 points. Oh no, we have a black file.
Oh,
This is brilliant.
All right.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
Out Nat.
This is what I'm talking about.
But
Okay.
you also do have the runner on 4 attacks and the corp on 4 cards left in R&D, so who actually knows what is happening in this game? Not trashing the black file.
All bets are off.
Sending a message.
Yeah,
Okay.
that is true. They had the option to actually trash this black file here with just the basic action card, but they can just wait it out. Just telling the runner, you're not fast enough.
Oh, well, here we are. Okay, well, I think that was all the games in this round, I guess.
Yes, this should be all the games in this round.
Yeah.
So
Okay, let's just jump into the refresher window. So we will have 2 more rounds. Are you hoping to run any breaks or anything like that, or?
I think I will be asking the players this right now. So
Okay,
if anyone
okay.
wants a break,
Heard it here first, people.
Yes, this is breaking news.
Oh, okay. Apologies if people are seeing weird things happening on the screen, but I'm just experimenting with stuff, so that's, you know, it's all live. I'm just gonna go into Cobra. I hope I have Cobra open and it's not my browser history. For anyone wondering what the hell is happening today, huh? Well, basically it's me testing stuff a bit before tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be a big day as well. We have a big day today, we have a big day tomorrow. It's a big weekend for Netrunner of all types, formats, colors, card pools, and whatnot. And today we are enjoying the absolutely illustrious Eternal format, which is way too big for my head. But hey, I'm not gonna complain. I'm not complaining here. I'm just saying this. To play this, you have to have bigger brain than mine, which is not that hard. But basically, you have to just be cool with the unexpected, I guess. I wonder how many people were like, "Oh, I did not see this one coming today." There should be some sort of a, how do you call it? There should be like a, what do you call those things again? A survey. You should run a survey afterwards. Like, okay, you like the tournament or not? That's okay. Like, what would you change? Anything else? How do you like the cards and everything? But also, how many times did you go like, wait a minute? No. So let's just see the results very quickly. We have all the updates in, I guess, or they're getting in there because we happen to be busying our tournament organizer here with our presence and whatnot.
Yes, very true.
I do really appreciate that you're both here to help me out with this, because knowing myself, I would just be saying things like, oh, this is broken and that is broken. And I remember when somebody played that card against me a while ago and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And while this might be entertaining for some people, probably not for everybody. Jeez, I'm breaking so many things.
Yeah, as I previously stated, I don't think anything is internal is broken. It's just worth a few points.
I love that. I love this statement. It's really cool.
Also, another question that would probably be interesting to include in the survey is how many cards did you have to read? And how many of those did you actually reread after reading them the first time?
This is a really brilliant point to make. Yeah, like how many times did you have to go? Like, oh yeah, we have the results here. I'm just gonna be hopping over to the table in a second. I should be asking Losgeek how he drove to Denmark just to get killed turn 3 by zombies lame PE deck. Okay, I think this is a story.
There is a story behind that.
Yeah, that is true.
I do remember the point of going like, and how are you killing me? Because I think he had some 4 advancements on one card and has scored something else, and was like, there is nothing that can kill me here. I should be fine. And it seems I forgot that Show of Force is actually a card, and he doesn't need a click to score and gender, and that's part of the rules actually. So that way, I did die against his, I guess, PE deck. It was.
Yeah, PEP indeed. Show of Force. Show of Force is a card, people, and it's a very good card. I should be putting it up on the screen, but that would require some magics. I should totally put it on the screen. Again. By the way, folks on the stream, if you notice anything of the usual ordinary or breaking or just not making sense much, please do let me know as soon as possible. Just because I do value your feedback, I do value your presence, and well, it will help me a lot to make sure that for tomorrow everything is going to be tip-top and whatnot. And tomorrow is going to be a big day as well. Today we still have 2 rounds of Swiss going for the Swiss side of things. And so there's 4 rounds. We are on round number 3 in a second. The scores have been updated. We have 2 people unbeaten so far, 1 person on 9 points, and then the rest of the field behind them. The next thing after the 4 Swiss rounds will be a top 3 cut, and I would like to have the TO in a second, once we have the rounds in as well, explain to us what is meant by a top 3 cut. I did play it once or twice, or I did actually organize a tournament once or twice with it as well. But just as a refresher, if you are able to tell us what a top 3 cut means, that would be awesome.
Yes, I can. So, just in case anyone is wondering, we are having 5 more minutes of a break. So, just a short break because players were saying that rounds are short, so there is no need for having a long break. But I did want to have some more minutes to catch a breath and organize everything. So, top 3 cut actually is something that has been done in some small tournaments. I know that I've been part of a Star Championship where we actually did a top 3, and it's pretty cool for smaller kinds of tournaments where otherwise IDing into the cut of a top 4 might be an option, or even some tournaments if there are like 30 players and the top 8 is gonna be played. IDs are really happening a lot in last rounds, and the top 3 circumvents this by just making the top 3 spots be in contention for the top 1 place. So if you've got a tournament with ages, especially if at some point we once again will be able to play in meat space, sometimes people make the cut and other people have to drive them home, so they also can't leave the place. Or on the contrary, people leave the place because they know the cut will take 2 more hours and they don't want to stay around for all of that. And the top 3 cut just ensures that there's just one game going on, people can watch that game, and it will not take that long because it's just 2 rounds of Netrunner, and we all can play more rounds in the Swiss rounds where everybody can participate.
Well, thank you so much for this really comprehensive and clear and very logical explanation of the top 3 cut. I do agree that this is actually quite cool for people who, well, like a lot of people nowadays with lives being busy, organized and whatnot, you would like to enjoy the hobby as much as you can, but sometimes it's just like, yeah, I really have to go. And even with tournaments online, you do have people saying, yeah, I would love to play, but it's been like 7 hours or whatever already, and I did book a part of the day for this, but this is getting a bit too much. I'm going to sleep or something like this, which is totally understandable, by the way. If anybody plays in a tournament and you have to quit at some point, that's totally legit. Like, nobody should be worried about quitting a tournament just because they can't play anymore. So absolutely encouraging people, I would say. I am here right now to just be responsible for their own performances and whatnot. But anyway, I was going to just say that we're going to be having a bit of a break. Not too much of a break, but just, there's going to be enough of a break. And in the meantime, what else should be said? I don't know. Should anything else be said? Any things that...
I actually have a bit of an interview question for Lost Geek.
Ooh, here we go. Do it!
Yes.
So basically my question is, why? Why did you decide to revive Eternal?
I love this. Great question.
I guess for me personally, since Eternal has been, I'd say, one of the biggest successes for myself since I've won the first Eternal tournament, and the format is just something that allows me to play with cards that I never actually got to play with, because when I started playing the game, I was still exploring a lot, and at the point where I became somewhat decent at the game, we already had at least one rotation going on, maybe even two, depending on where you actually want to put that, and if you even could say that I'm doing decent these days. But I did want to have a format where the goal was to have every single card being playable. So if somebody has a card that they've been really in love with, that they like to play, they should have some format that they can play it in. And I tried with this points list to come up with a system that can get every card playable, even though separating the problematic combinations of cards. And the hope would be that we have found a spot where everybody can play the decks they want to play. So right now there's only one card on each side banned, which are the combo cards of Salvage Renetta's Armory and X-Rated Diagnostics, which turned out to be much too strong in a large card pool as we have right now. But I think the result has been quite decent, and the decks have been quite varied, and we really don't know how the format will look like after this tournament and after the results of this tournament are public. So I guess we'll see in the future, but I'd really like to have a format where everything can get played, and it seems to be working quite well right now.
Yeah, that sounds great. We can just iterate a slight bit more for people who weren't part of the testing process. First of all, Salvaged Renetta's Armory obviously was the first card that got banned during testing. What was the exact reason because of that? Was it just too linear, basically?
Yes, it was able to. I know that somebody also made a max list, but there also was a loop list going around. The loop list being more consistent and typically milling out the corp at turn 5, 4 to 6, I think, in general, and then 5 most often. And the max list also being a bit more inconsistent since it's max, but being able to mill out the corp sometimes even as early as turn 2 or 3. So this was way too problematic, and there was no real tech on the corp side that they could reliably get on board, and it just turned out to be too strong even for this kind of format.
Yeah, I can see Zeroth Maxima mentioning in the chat that they got actually killed on turn 2 by the max one.
Yes.
That sounds terrible. On the other side, we have Accelerated Diagnostics. I believe it was a similar reason for why that got banned, right?
It was not as quick. I think with the kind of points that I did put on CI, those kind of decks weren't possible because they couldn't get all the draw cards and all the fuel into the deck. But generally, the lists just were too strong, and especially with that one, the railgun variants, so the variants that played Accelerated Diagnostics to try to kill the runner, were also able to find combinations of cards that just killed through any sort of damage protection, and that was a bit too much even for this format. So
yeah, I was mostly experimenting with the Actual Reality Plus version, and I found that it was definitely slightly faster than the Near Earth Hub versions, while the Near Earth Hub versions had coverage for literally every single piece of deck that there is.
Okay, I believe we have the pairings up in the meantime, so let's take a quick look.
Yes, we do.
Okay, thank you so much for being such. I mean, you're just multitasking left, right, center here.
Yes,
so
I am.
You're the best.
So if I
with
should
this.
miss something, just tell me.
Judge,
Man of many hats.
yeah, we had a complaint, I think, at the very beginning by one of the players. Judge, my opponent's playing Andromeda, so. But actually, nobody's playing Andromeda. What happened with you people? Where's my Andromeda? Ugh. Okay, let me just very quickly run through the tables we have here and tell you that we have seen full games so far with you, Man in the Moon, Tuck Gut, also known as Asger. I'm terrible at pronouncing this username, but I'm sorry. And Percomus. Well, more or less, I mean, we still owe them a game, but we know how they're playing, we know what they're playing, so that's okay. So, for example, table 4 looks like people we haven't seen at all today, or we have seen them just a bit. We have Titan Transnational and Nat, and Industrial Genomics and Max. Would that be a good thing to look at?
Yes, definitely. We haven't really had a look at a full game of one of these prison-style Jinteki lists so far.
I mean, there's Titan and Industrial Genomics that I haven't seen in forever. So that will be good to see. Cool. And then, of course, we're going to try and, for the last round, we're going to try and catch the people we have not seen at all. I believe we haven't seen a single thing by Isengrin SC. So we're going to go to Isengrin's table as much as possible soon. And Dana CWSF and Geneva Makes as well. There's a Khan in there, which is daunting, I would say. I mean, Khan... Well, okay, maybe this is the thing about Khan, because I tried at some point, and I'm not good at building interesting criminals, but Khan maybe in Standard didn't really have enough power cards or cool cards to put together, but I'm really curious what you can do with Khan in Eternal, because... maybe there's something we haven't really thought about, and I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, okay. So players are probably setting up at the tables. No, they're not. They're just lazy.
I have just given round 3 a go. I think all the players have set up tables.
Okay, so maybe this is just...
Yes, I do count 7 tables right now. So everybody is set up. I believe we were only missing...
Wait, is JNet doing the thing again to me where it's just not showing stuff? Oh no, okay, we are here. Oof, sorry. It's just, my JNet is tricky, sorry. Apologies, we're back. Okay, so, where should we go? I mentioned table 4, Eternal table 4, here we are.
Yeah.
Already off to the races, yeah, we're jumping through this. Okay, over to you two. I'm really sorry for all the technical issues, but it's testing, alright? So here we go.
Exactly. This is the Eternal stream testing tournament. So what do we have here? We have a max list on Astro Break's side and Astro Break on a Titan list. So Titan starting strong with Illegal Arms Factory, which is a card that is able to put a lot of forward tempo into the game. And it seems to be a score from Titan directly on.
We just got the request to stream another table, not because they don't like us. It's just Algebraic is actually streaming this game on his own channel. So yeah, we're jumping out of this table. Sorry, apologies. I chose the table. Okay, that's perfect. Let's go to table. I don't know.
Table 5, I'd say, since we wanted to see some of that stuff that Ysengrin was doing. Right?
Let's jump in here.
Let's do that.
Okay, let's take a look at Ysengrin then running on Cerebral Imaging, and I think this idea itself is just worth a lot of words, right? as many words as credits that you have in your credit pool at the very least.
Exactly. That is how this works. So yeah, CI has been the bane of Eternal for a long time. In the previous formats, CI lists were able to win as early as turn 4, even against decks that were tech to the teeth against them. And I do not hold a grudge against a certain Pinsel for beating me with my CI killer at this point. But CI decks were just able to combo really well in the previous format, and this format tries to give them a bit more variety in what they are able to do and what they are not able to do. So in this case, the CI itself is worth 2 Eternal points, and the Estelle Moon that we just saw is also worth 2 points. So this list seems to already have been spent 4 points just on some forward acceleration, so we'll be seeing what the game plan is with this one.
Actually, has already also been a Project Vashron stolen, so that's another point, I believe.
Oh, that is true, yeah. Vashron costs 1 point on the Eternal list.
So only 2 more points left to be revealed. Very interesting to see what that is. Usually I'd say Jackson, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're actually on Spin Doctor, because Spin Doctor only costs 1 point in comparison to Jackson, who costs 2.
Yeah, and also
Because they, yeah.
the decision between Spin Doctor and Jackson has been actually an interesting one, and I am not certain that the difference in points will stay that way for a long time, because while Jackson is able to recur 3 cards, it takes a click to actually draw cards with it. On the other hand, Spin Doctor recurs only 2 cards, but already by installing it, you get the ability to draw 2 cards whenever you want to. So Spin Doctor in some decks is actually correct choice over Jackson, even without considering the eternal points behind them. So yeah, we'll have to see how that plays out in the long run.
Very interesting. We see a very, very regular looking game plan from the CI so far. Just, icing up HQ, R&D, and a remote, putting a card in there and advancing it. Not the usual playstyle I'd expect from CI.
Yeah, definitely interesting. Here you see now the botulus on vanilla, the smallest piece of ice, but broken for 0 credits at this point.
Ooh, but a big access. 2 Estelles already in the bin. Yeah. Not sure how long they are gonna be staying there, since I wouldn't be surprised if this list is also playing Friends in High Places. And we do see Efficiency Comedy scored.
Just scored out of the remote. Whoa, what format is this? How are you able to score out of a remote?
Yeah, we might have to make some changes for the points list. We can't have that happening.
No, this is impossible. So interesting to see what Zangren will be doing with these extra clicks that they have now access to on the efficiency committee.
Whatever it is, it definitely won't be fair, I believe.
And now second botulus going down on HQ. A lot of central pressure happening here from you.
Yeah, Friday Chip and Imp also providing very, very strong trashing capabilities.
Just letting the gatekeeper fire. Go on, draw your cards. I dare you. CI being on 2 credits and having the ability, or having the, in this case, a disadvantage of only having as large a hand size as their credit total, means that they just have to click up for credits to not discard a lot of the cards in HQ.
Yeah, I wonder what, since we've already seen so many points out of that deck in Estelle Moon, Vacheron, and CI itself, I wonder if they are actually on the Friends in High Places as their last few points, or if they are spending those points on some of the clearances.
Yeah. I think like clearances, or like 1 clearance, I think only Ultraviolet Wild, wait, which one? Wild level clearance is on the list. That would be an option in combination with Spin Doctor. I would guess that some form of recursion in the form of Spin Doctor or Jackson Howard would be needed in this format or in this kind of deck, but I think we'll see.
Yes, Spin and Jackson Howard both provide some, first of all, just very nice way to record important cards in your deck, but it is actually also kind of a tech card against both these types of mill-out DLR decks, in that you can buy yourself an extra turn sometimes with it.
Yeah.
Oh, and we do see Ultraviolet clearance here. Yeah, big draw for your Zangren.
And we have seen a steal from the runner side, so the runner now on 5 points, only needing 1 more agenda, probably taking a guess at the agenda composition being only 3 and 2 pointers. So
yeah, very likely.
But no ice installed on HQ, which might mean that HQ either doesn't contain agendas or is Zangren being happy to just roll the die on the excesses. Oh, I am called for a judge call, so I will be silent for a second.
I'll take over in the meantime.
Yeah, no worries. I'm also here as well to just provide you with expert, commentary. This is looking a bit grim for the court, because You right now has the doorway open to HQ. The only thing saving the corp is basically the runner whiffing.
Yes, and with 2 imps installed, they are very, very likely to be able to hunt down a lot of their ice here, or rather, a lot of their general tools. However, Yasangren is able to put a stop to that with events assembly lines, using it to install a piece of ice after the first run on HQ.
This really looks
And
like
we
a
do
server.
see,
Yeah, go on.
yeah, we're continuing the very, very fair and nice game plan of just install, advance, never mind, we are clicking efficiency committee, ring contract, to easily shift 3 points over onto that agenda. Good old Rikoko combo.
Okay, there's a lot of hacking happening
Yasangren.
today. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, I am
beautiful.
back.
Okay, so were you responsible for Isengren getting disconnected from JNet while trying to combo out a scary big agenda? What's this gonna be?
I'm assuming a very big...
Vitruvius? Yeah.
Yeah, there's the Vitruvius.
Are you sure? Because there's also this option of having this agenda that's 6-2, right? It's illegal in what was the name?
I
Mandatory
think,
upgrades.
the Vitruvius already got scored, so I think.
Oh, okay, so it's problems on my side again.
Yeah, I
Jeez.
can see in the chat that you have
Yeah.
disconnected once
Okay,
again.
I'm gonna leave the game. I'm gonna jump into table number 5, was it? Yeah. And it's
Yeah, it
probably
was
not gonna
table
work
number
again. But I have to say that with the Sengrin jumping out of the table and jumping back into the table, chances are this is not only me having trouble, which is actually not good. I would love it just for me to have the trouble with connecting with tables and not for anybody else. But it seems that there's something afoot. We're getting hacked.
Yes.
Cannot get back into the table. This is terrible.
And reloading tab probably also doesn't help, right?
Well, I'll do my best. In the meantime, I'll also try and I'm refreshing here things very, very forcibly with all the different buttons that do different things, and it's blew up.
Yes, in the meantime,
Bunch of
we will
buildings.
provide a bit of radio commentary over here.
Fair enough.
So it looks like we won't be seeing too much more of this game anyways, because Yasangren is spending 3 of his 4 Vitruvius counters to fetch back Reconstruction Contract, Red Level Clearance, and Dedication Ceremony. Using the RLC to install Rikoko, playing 2 dedications to put 6 counters on it, installing some random unseen card, and yes, scoring out a veteran for hand for game.
Yes.
Very nice combo there.
good game.
Okay, that's terrible. I
One-
hope they can remake the table.
Yeah, the other side will be also interesting, right? Because it's net versus industrial genomics, so
Yep.
Yes,
some
the
sort of core prison, most likely.
So it's gonna be Sengren running and you corping. I'm getting into the table right now. It should be working. Apologies to everybody on the stream for my issues. I will purge all the purgables and whatnot for tomorrow, but this is just what happens sometimes with me and Jaina. It doesn't help anybody, huh? But here we are. This is round 3, by the way. Round 3 of 4 for the Swiss rounds. I am joined by Lost Geek, the organizer of the tournament, and Simply the Onion, one of the people responsible for this meta. What have you done? And we're watching Haley Kaplan versus Sports Metal. Over to you, gentlemen.
Yeah, we probably have a very, very nice matchup of combo v combo here. Sports probably looking to do some kind of game changery, maybe calibration testing, combo type of things, while Haley is very, very likely... Actually, I know that this is a diaper variant, which is a core deck which is looking to basically make a turn, use multiple hyperdrivers for one giant turn in combination with encores and a bunch of other effects to either access all of R&D or sometimes even make the corp draw / trash all of R&D, hoping to find 7 agenda points in the process.
Yeah, this is a archetype that was always liked by some portion of the card or some portion of the player base. I would actually venture as far as to say it never was really the main deck that was played by the high level players, but there were always few players that really like to play these forms of runner combo decks, and let's see if this works well in the Eternal format. So we do see a Deck Deer, which is a card that most importantly reduce the memory cost of the hosted program to 0, also lowering its install cost to 1, which is currently hosting an hyperdriver, which is giving you 3 clicks when your turn begins and you want it. So we could either see a Zengrin just build up here, install a second hyperdriver at some point, and just create one big huge turn, or we could also see him just use it soon to just quickly set up when possible. And on the other side, we see Sports Metal just install cards and spam the board horizontally and make Vesper's life difficult, probably, as he probably has to zoom out.
Yeah, going all the way sideways here, as most corps have done so far.
Yeah, the thing
It
is,
will
you
be
cannot
very
see-
interesting
Oh, sorry, go on.
how Ysengrin is going to approach this matchup, since the big part of skill with the Diaper deck isn't just assembling the combo, but trying to figure out when it's go time. Versus when he still has time to wait, and he can still wait and set up even more to assemble an even bigger combo.
And since Sports Metal probably relies on the fact that the runner has some agendas in their score area, if the runner just doesn't interact, this also means that Sports Metal goes a bit slower than it probably would like to. So I would guess the corp needs to do something to make the runner actually fear to lose the game at some point. So we're seeing an Estelle Moonres. I would guess we'll see some more installs, and actually we do see some more installs in the form
Some
of shipping from
big
Mirror
installs.
So 3 installs, all in a certain server. Are we comboing out here in some form? No, we're also installing ice, which probably means that whatever is happening in that server doesn't happen this turn.
Interesting.
Maybe
yeah,
I'm
this
wrong.
is what I. Oh, we are scoring something. 2 team sponsorships rest. You were talking about how the corp somehow does have to make Ysengrin fear losing the game, and
This is
comboing out on turn. What is this? Turn 3? Turn 4? Yeah, turn 4.
It's definitely not a full combo, as the corp is just missing an Arella Salvatore, so there's no way of actually reinstalling an agenda with an advancement token here, which means that whatever's happening in server 6, I think we know that it's one Kelly testing and one unseen card from archives. Probably doesn't win the game now on the spot.
No, but the general threat of there being something big happening on the other side of the table does force Ysengrin here to pop this hyperdriver to try and set up even more here. Try to set up a big combo turn.
And we do see an SMC going down, as well as a false echo. And I would guess the SMC is there to threaten the install of a clot when needed, to be able to throw wrench into this. Let's pretend SMC is hosted, to throw a wrench into the plan of the corp here.
Yeah, I believe some Deck Deer specifically has some issues on JNet right now, right?
I don't know, but that might be true.
I've seen it on who was it again? Metropole Grid was streaming and also had some issues with Deck Deer actually.
Oh, that is too bad. Yeah, I think after this Eternal tournament and after this Eternal testing, we'll have to also fix some of the bugs that have gone unseen, because a little number of players were actually playing these kinds of decks on Jinteki.net.
I always had my suspicions that you aren't actually interested in Eternal. This is just fuzzy testing for JNet for you.
Yeah, I have been found out now.
Okay, we do see Estelle Moon getting popped here for some very easy 4 cards and 8 credits, just a nice and easy Estelle pop. Getting a big install.
Just the usual.
In between, Ysengrin is weaving in a good old Haley trigger with that SMC. finding another hyperdriver. I assume we think that this is hosted on the deck tier, so he isn't actually at -1
Yeah,
MU here.
he also did take another credit, which also seems to indicate that
Yeah, that also implies
Th-
that. That's true.
this has been hosted on the deck tier.
Additionally to that, he also found an equivocation. Jesus, that's one for the ages too. Yeah, to probably as a way for to multi-access on R&D here.
Yeah.
Ooh, but that's if advanced assembly lines. This actually throws quite the wrench in the usual plan of the Haley deck here, because it can be used at the start of the runner turn to maybe actually install a piece of ice from HQ onto R&D, which would make the whole plan of locking, of removing all the ice from R&D with a combination of false echo and DDoS a whole lot more difficult, because more false echoes would be needed to accomplish that.
Yeah, and we're seeing an archive run without the ashes. Is this deck actually trying to APOC? I do wonder, because the equivocation already did
yeah.
hit the table, but there's definitely some stuff going on here. So DDoS was used. The ice on R&D cannot be rezzed, which means that false echo can get trashed to force the corp to res that piece of ice, which they can't, so they have to add it to HQ. This means
Exactly. So a single advanced assembly line doesn't help here actually, because the DDoS effect will still be active. So that single ice on R&D won't be able to be rezzed.
exactly. And there's Project Bushron. And now the question is, does Zengron want to steal this? No. They let the corp draw it, see the card below, which is another advanced assembly lines. I would guess that the corp is now using the advanced assembly lines to install some ice.
Well, it doesn't matter because the DDoS effect is still active.
Yes, but that would... Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess you are right, because... Oh, I think they did misclick and want to install a keyhole instead, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, both keyhole and equivocation here lets them really drill into the corp's R&D here.
Yes.
And we do see actually a run on HQ, so do we see an APOC here? No, we see 3 encores hit the table.
Yeah.
Wow.
But this also does mean that the advanced assembly lines actually can get back some ice, because the
Exactly,
effect will have
because
been worn out next turn.
yeah, so yeah, this is the exact thing about this whole like diaper. At first, diaper looks like just a very, very uninteractive combo deck, but there are quite a number of niche interactions which make playing with and against diaper quite a bit more involved. Unlike some certain other combos, which might involve a certain band runner card, which unfortunately didn't have any counterplay on the corp side.
Yes. That is true.
2 more
Zengron
turns.
will have 2 extra turns remaining. I haven't
Shouldn't,
seen...
in theory, you could have gained a window here, right?
Yeah.
To install right now?
Yeah, he could technically install a piece of ice, but either he doesn't have one, although he did get forcibly drawn into an architect before. Maybe they're waiting for an end-to-run piece of ice, or
Yes.
maybe they've got some way of actually shuffling back agendas on table right now and are waiting for a moment to use that advanced assembly lines. Or simply they have
probably
forgotten about that option, which is also definitely possible, because once you see the runner doing the stuff, you
I
might
mean, if
just...
they are playing something like, I mean, I think they have an Jackson Howard exiled, so they could just hope that Yesengren is nice enough to draw them into a Jackson Howard at some point here, and then use that advanced assembly lines to actually install the Jackson Howard instead of using it to install an ice.
Yeah. That might actually be a possibility here. Stopping for this start of turn. I guess they're saying something on voice chat.
Yeah, there's probably some. Okay, so there's a Jackson Howard trashed. So at most there's one still hiding somewhere. Yeah, now we have Corp wants to act with only 3 cards remaining. Now they install Ice. Interesting. I guess since they have most, if not all of the combos set up in server 6, they did want to wait to actually use the diaper interaction to get all of the combo pieces into hand and are hoping to combo out during their turn now.
And now just have left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points in Archives, which is not enough to win. There is one extra turn remaining though, so it will be a while before the Corp gets to act. What a game. The Corp on 39 credits. The runner have seen all but 4 cards on R&D.
I mean, the Corp, the runner should probably just face check what's on R&D right now, just to find out what it is. Since I believe, at least from what I can see right now, their only break option is an admin. So they would need to know what kind of ice that is.
That is correct.
Or they could just take...
Yeah, but this is 0 points still, so...
Yeah, but at some point the Corp doesn't have enough points to score out.
That is correct. How many points are in score?
Right now there are 9
so
and 10 11 total.
11 points left in the game. So...
Yeah, 10 points left because the Corp also has scored 1, but yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, actually that was the last turn. So yeah, you
the
most likely has the win here.
Yeah.
Just need to navigate an 18 card hand on Janet, which might be a bit...
Yeah, but I think 9 clicks is a good start. 9 clicks is a really good start
nice.
to be able to combo out somehow. There's a Kelly testing on server 6.
There's a shipment, yeah, that's probably installing an Estelle and another Kelly testing. And yeah, probably an agenda too.
And another team solution, just to make sure that everything goes smoothly.
Oh, it's actually just straight up 3 Kelly testing, sure. And, well, okay, sure.
At this point, why not?
This is exactly what I was hoping Eternal would be. Just very, very nice combos all around.
And there's a concession on turn 6 after... I mean, turn 6 doesn't really capture what happened in this game, right?
No.
Because there were more turns than just 6 in this game.
Time has been bent and space has been bent, and this was Sports Metal doing CI things, and you've seen it here. When I saw Sangren rolling out the combo, I was like, okay, this is it. But then you was just like, okay, yeah, sure. Oh, okay, so we're at this stage. Okay, you get 6 points, that's it. But I think it was still a fair game, right? I mean, both decks were just like, hey, we're gonna do wild things, and this is what happened.
Yeah, definitely. And the Corp actually had to choose wisely when to use advanced assembly lines. And I think the most obvious line of just installing a piece of ice on R&D to stop the keyhole was wrong. So this is definitely I mean, in hindsight it obviously was the good choice because it led to a win, but I think also just looking at it in general, using the advanced assembly line only in the end was the correct choice here.
Yeah. Well, what a game. I mean, yeah, that was quite combo powerful. There are still some tables here. There's still table 7. There's still Peter, Where Are You, which is table number I don't know what. Eternal Table 3 is being streamed by Algebraic on his own Twitch channel. Please visit. I posted the link not so long ago on the chat, so please jump in there. Well, so we have 3 tables to choose from. 7, Peter, Where Are You, and table 1. What would you jump into?
There's some interesting choices. I think table 1 is actually interesting because this is actually Max versus the Gagarin instead of the Wizard, which we can see in the Peter, where are you table.
Okay, of course this is Gagarin, so I have to zoom out to nowhere, and I was going to say you don't hear me much because I'm running on a ladder because I have to move the camera by hand, of course, the JNet camera. Anyway, over to you. This is looking server busy. Well, good luck to you knowing what's happening on this table.
Yeah, this is basically what Gagarin gets to do if the runner isn't Wizard and isn't hunting down every single asset that ever gets installed. They just get to flood the board like crazy. Yet still, both players on 4 and 1 credit, although this account size is obviously looking to change this to 11-0.
Also nice to get the additional credit from paywall implementation so that they get the full 10
That's
credits
true,
from
that's
the account
true.
siphon. But there's a bankers on board, so now is the decision point of whether to trash that bankers for a total sum of 4 credits, giving the cop 1 credit in the process.
Yeah, there's also not just that, there's also the Estelle on the board, which is also giant. Could turn out to be a big pile of money for the corp.
Yeah, there's an Estelle on board. There's also the Mumbot City Hall on board and an executive search firm. So a lot of options for the corp here, actually. We see a trash of the commercial bankers group. So 2 DLR seem to be in the bin. I would guess a third is still on its way somewhere.
Wonder how many alliance and or executive size up character cards are actually in this Gagarin. Wouldn't be surprised if they get both executive search firm and Mumbet on table, that they have basically access to at least half that deck.
Yeah, that is very much possible, especially with the option of using consulting wizards with Mumbet City Hall to then search for all the other operations that are not alliance cards. So.
Oh yeah, we didn't even see a consulting visit yet, but.
Yeah, but
wow,
as far as I know, that there is also one in this deck. So it's really a lot of options and a lot of access to huge parts of the deck once a Mumbot City Hall hits the table.
We do see them finding once again this urban renewal. Last time we saw them use this in conjunction with a contract killer to set up a kill. I wonder if this is the same line they're going for here once again. There definitely seems to be a lot of options in this Gagarin deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe you can reveal by now probably what the options for killing are. I believe it's either SIU plus Zealous Judge or this Urban Renewal plan, right?
Yeah, exactly. Those are like the options that this deck has. I do think that I don't know. Like they've been deck building a lot today, but the last time I saw that there was also hunting news in this list. So also the option of tutoring dead when needed to be able to kill using the combination of SIU, the judge, a hard to use, some high-profile targets, which we already saw in this game, I think, or in this deck. So really, a whole plethora of options that the corp has access to once their tutoring pieces are on.
Yeah, an indiscriminate amount of tags just generally being tossed across the table to see what sticks.
Yeah.
Alright, Max at the end of its deck. Not yet. Well, 2 DLRs are in the bin, so we can assume probably that the third one is sitting in hand.
Yeah. Do they still have access to the levy is the question. There is.
I don't see it anywhere, so it's probably in hand.
No, there's one in bin. There's one in the heap.
Oh right, there it is.
And I'm seeing 3 same old things, so that option is out. And no deja vu, so I would guess they milled themselves out of the levy option. So, but they do have 2 labor rights in heap, which probably means that the third one is in hand. So that option still exists.
Oh yeah, that's their recursion option.
So 2 kinds of recursion options with some backup plans to be able to be certain to draw into at least one of them, I guess. We are
This
seeing a
does-
tour guide, so this tour guide is probably pretty huge. Also, Vesper disconnected once again, so
Oh yeah, we are doing radio again. Yeah, this is an interesting spot for the DLR max, because usually when playing Laborites, you do have to take a turn off to set up, to basically spend the whole turn playing Laborites and then drawing the rest of the cards and probably playing one of them
yes.
to like get your hand a bit empty. And the urban renewal is ticking at the same time, so you are under a clock at the same time.
That is also true. And also, we don't see any rebirth, at least in the heap, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm
This-
not sure if they can actually fit rebirth in terms of just normal, boring agenda points, right?
Let's see, there are 2 Count Siphons, which are 8. Then there's Levy, which is 11. 3 Fall Guys, which is 14. And I'm probably missing something.
Oh, that's all. Maybe you're right. Maybe that's exactly the 1 point left over for rebirth.
Yeah, right now we are not seeing any. So, there's an SSL stolen.
Oh, nice.
I think the stream cannot see it, but Runner
Yeah, I
is now
have
on
the
3
stream
points.
silent on another page. and
Yeah,
we
me
are
too.
back on chat.
I am keeping an eye on that as well. I also should be keeping an eye on the tournament Discord.
I mean, yeah, you're wearing like 20 different hats today.
Yeah, but to be honest, this is quite a nice experience because you're not just sitting around waiting for results to come in, but I can also spectate the games and talk a bit about them, which is, I think this is going quite nice. So, half an hour left in the round, but I'm pretty certain that the players will not be using all of the time.
Right, so we do see the third and final DLR hit the table right now. So we are starting to DLR. It does cost, well, only, since there are no Fall Guys on the table, it does only cost 4 credits right now to get rid of it. Oh, and well, we're
That's
just
also
going
an option.
after the paparazzi and just
Yeah.
hitting them with the high profile.
Yeah, the cost
Also
just trash both paparazzis and use the high profile target to deal a small amount of 18 meat damage. So I guess that is enough to kill a runner.
At least most of the runners, yeah.
Oh, I'm getting asked a rules question, so I'll be out for a second.
Alright, looks like this game's over anyways.
Yeah, I'm not leaving you alone.
Unfortunately-
I'm just furiously punching things here, going like, why is nothing working? But yeah, table 3 is still on. Eternal Actual table 3, so let's take a look there.
Yes. I believe this is actually where Losky just got called to for a rules question.
Yep.
The question is, can you use the ability of Salset Sums with wizard credits? And Salset Sums says, once per turn, when you pay the trash cost of an excess card, remove that card from the game instead of trashing it. Very interesting. Let's see what the ruling on that is. Yeah, because, oh yeah, I'm actually seeing the printed version isn't the most here. The updated version of this card right now. There has been errata to this card. So it might be a bit different than we are seeing here.
Yeah, the text I do get as the alternative view is, once per turn you may pay the trash cost of a card you access that is not in archives to remove that card from the game. So I believe this makes Wizard work?
I'm not sure. I'll wait until Lost Geek has.
Oh no, sorry, this is actually the same thing. Sorry, no. Okay, this is not errata. No. It's just, it says errata from FAQ 4.1. So yeah, this is Eternal, by the way, everybody. In case you're wondering what the hell is going on, basically some cards have changed their text slightly, or have been adjusted to fit the new rules and whatnot over time, and that means basically that not all the scans in the game, or not all the cards visible could have been fixed. And this is probably something as a project for people willing to tinker a bit with the images of the cards in JNet. If you have the time to develop JNet, if you have the time to help out with any aspect of the site, that you see or are interested in, do get in touch with the JNet developers, because they can definitely use your help, and there's a ton of different things you can improve. Okay, that's enough of the recruiting and advertising. We did have a Kakurenbo being played, and this is one of the wordiest cards in Netrunner of the new cards. I lost my connection to the server, so probably you're not going to see things happening anyway. Jeez, this is terrible today. Okay, we're still in. There's a shock, because that's shocking. But yeah, Kakurenbo does cool things to you if you are the corp and if you're using it.
Kakurenbo, one of the best cards, right? Newer cards to combine with industrial genomics, which cares about you.
Oh,
Kakurenbo desk flip.
Now I'm losing you. I'm wondering if I'm losing my connection in general. Oh, jeez.
I'll just keep talking, and we'll see if you can still keep hearing me or if I keep cutting out.
I think we're just, I mean, this is a testing tournament, which is good. Things are happening, which is bad, but it's okay because it's a testing tournament. People are very understanding, and thanks to everybody watching still, in case we were cutting out repeatedly for you. It seems that there's some sort of a weird issue for me with JNet. I have to figure out how to amend that before tomorrow, so I'll have a long night tonight. Fun times. But for now, the game is still on, right? I mean, Percomas is approaching R&D. Is there anything else happening on the table that I'm not seeing?
Yeah, Percomas did actually have that access happen.
Oh, jeez.
We don't see what was accessed, but in general, I think it's very important to say about this game is how well of a job this anti-acid deck is actually doing against these acid decks. Because we are on turn 6, I believe it will be turn 7 for the Corp, and the acid spam deck doesn't have a single card installed.
Yep. I'm trying to get into the table again, but it seems that I'm just getting stuck there, and there's no clear way for me to get in and out cleanly. And I did clear cache and cookies and whatnot in the meantime. That was one of the reasons why I was changing the screens. Let me just keep trying. I maybe will be able to get in there. Otherwise, I'm really sorry for the technical issues. There's still more or less over 20 minutes left, or 25 minutes easy left in this round, but there's only one table going on. So Eternal is probably a faster format in a way. I mean, we've seen some really wild combos on the screen when we were lucky enough to actually have a game happen.
Yes, there are a lot of haymakers being thrown around and a lot of very, very big effects happening, which usually accelerate the game quick enough. Yep. There are some prison archetypes like this Industrial Genomics deck, which is usually looking to drag the game out. And there are decks like the Scorpius we have already seen in, I believe, round 1 today, which are playing a bit of a slower game. But in general, I'd say most of the decks are still very, very fast, since even those decks which are looking to slow down the game can still be blown out very easily by some sort of very explosive runner effect.
Okay, I'm gonna try and use a hack to get into that table. Yep, I'm in. Okay, never mind. I think I solved the issue. It might... I mean, no, I didn't solve the issue. I just made it worse. It might exacerbate in the future if that keeps happening on my side. But basically, I have several accounts. Now you know that I have Smurfs, so I can join the game and watch the game as a spectator. So, yeah, terrible if this happens. But yeah, we're back on stream. Sorry, huge apologies to everybody wondering what the heck is going on. But we're back, we're back, we're back. For a while, until it crashes again.
Yeah, so far the game seems to be actually quote-unquote frozen in this board state with about to start turn 7 for the Corp.
Yeah, this is the thing, I have to say.
I believe it is mostly because, Lost Geek is right now in the table with the players, discussing the judge call of how Self-Set Slums, which did get an errata, interacts with Wizard's ability. Yeah,
makes absolute sense. I was just going to say here, it would be cool to have some sort of this table is active indicator, but let's not worry about it too much. I mean, I'm kidding, of course, and I'm not trying to give anybody more work that they're doing voluntarily anyway. But sometimes, especially in Netrunner, which is a thinking game a lot of the time, you do have to wonder, like, okay, is my opponent still there? Am I still connected? Has the server crashed? Is the world over? What's going on? And sometimes just like, no, it's a game where you really have to take into account a lot of variables on a good day, and this is an eternal day, so I think the variables are multiplied by at least 7 and thrown onto a 10-dimensional matrix, and then you have to figure out how to navigate this. So no worries about this. We're not going to be jumping into that room to listen to how they're discussing things, because we'll let them do that. But what you said earlier on during my technical issues, yeah, this wizard is just very oppressive against this particular industrial genomics, which doesn't really have that much of a game, even though the ability says the trash cost of each card is increased by 1 for each face down card in archives. That doesn't really matter with wizard unless you really have some prohibitively expensive things to trash, but that's not the case here. We have 11 cards in archives, and generally, well, okay, the shocks are not helping, but anything else that hit the table was promptly dealt with, including Chairman. Oh no, Chairman Hero actually was not trash. What happened here?
Yeah, there is actually also a Kakurenbo removed from the game right now. And it was used to flip archives back over again.
Oh.
But at that point, Percomus already had information about what those 11 cards were. So he actually felt fine just running archives, taking the 2 damage from the shocks to flip it back over. So this Kakurenbo unfortunately didn't do as much as Terrificy was probably hoping it would.
Yep. Museum of History, which is a very historical card. Enforced Curfew. That kind of makes me think of Pandemic here at some point, and yeah, it's kind of telling you that this is about limiting runners' ability. Oh, they're at it again. Predictive planogram. Okay, we're back into the game. Let's see what's going on.
I am back to the stream.
Yep.
This is interesting.
Yeah, tell us about the judge call. This sounds very convoluted.
Yes, it is convoluted, because I think in the history of Netrunner, this interaction has gone back and forth, because Slums got errata even and also got ruled in different ways, and there was also like different forms of rulings in different parts of the world that I don't want to get into. And in the end, there has been errata issued on both Slums and the basic trash ability. So right now, Slums says access flag, pay the trash cost of the card you're accessing, remove it from the game. Uses the ability only once per turn. On the other hand, your basic, like the reason why you are able to trash cards is because you have a basic trash ability that also says access flag, pay the trash cost of the accessed card, trash it. Now the problem is that Wizard hasn't been updated. So Wizard just says, as it did previously, use these credits to trash cards, which is just a general phrasing which nobody knows in how to interpret in these kinds of context. But on the other hand, the card that has been updated is Peritia, which says you can spend hosted credits to pay trash costs of assets. And so I ruled, if you're able to use Peritia to trash things, and your basic trash ability is worded exactly the same way as a cost as the Slums is getting done, that means that you should also be able to use Wizard if Wizard was updated to follow the current wordings that the rules team has decided on. So I did rule that you are able to use Wizard in this case, but to be honest, I am not sure, and I've told the players that, and luckily these have been players that I know personally and will not hold a grudge on me on this. But it is something that I will be asking the rules team about for sure.
I mean, just put Saucer at 8 points and we don't have this problem, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Just
I could also fix this myself. You're correct.
You have the tools.
I will now put the question up onto the rules team to have this correct in any following turn. So feel free to commentate without me for a few more minutes.
Yeah, I mean, there isn't actually much to commentate because Wizard has been keeping this board completely clean.
Yeah.
There might have been like cards entering archives at some point, but he's been slowly hammering all of the centrals. Now he's actually found up to 6 agenda points. I believe the Future Perfect was found at some point in archives. This OVO has actually been found in R&D.
Yep.
And yeah, Wizard just has, with 2 crowdfunding ticking, the Desperado giving him money every run, visibility, the Blue Moose. He has money that he can just pay 6 credits to remove a Rashida from the game when he accesses that in HQ. That's how much he's dripping for credits here.
This is a wizard that just doesn't care, and I have to say that Jacob has a very, very... I mean, this is not even an uphill battle. This is just how exactly do you stop this? Can you stop this? What do you do? How do you do it? No idea. Welcome to Eternal. More shocks, but there's a Future Perfect. Let's see.
Gamble time. I believe Percomus will be paying 0 here, right? Because Corp only has 2 credits.
I would say 1 is the correct call.
Oh, he even hit an Eye of Hardware, so Percomus has no issue just running twice again here, probably.
Oh, and of course I got disconnected from this. Jeez. Okay, let me just jump around again because I'm probably missing a very interesting part here. I have to jack out. I have to log in again because I'm special. And now you see all my scary... Oh, okay, this doesn't work anymore. Oops. What
Well,
I'm probably
too late.
Yeah. Oh no! Don't tell me that's just. Wait, I'm getting in
Guess
there.
who run archives often enough to finally steal the Future Perfect.
Wait, Slums cheat. Okay, yeah. Okay, fair enough. What happened here? Future Perfect for 0. Okay, both paid 0. Percom is 1. Jeez, but this is terrible. And I'm overloading JNet with all of my accounts. But I honestly have no idea what's going on tonight with my computer or with my connection or with JNet and my accounts. And I'm losing the connection again. Like, what the heck is going on? Ah, this is stressful for everybody today. A huge apologies to everybody on the stream. Tomorrow, I'm pretty... Well, not sure. I assume that there's just going to be a better way of running this. Maybe with more people streaming things tomorrow. Because if Intercontinentals are going to be this messy on the stream, they're just not going to be watchable, I'm afraid. I'll do my best. I'll try to wire everything or double wire everything. Or put fiber in all the walls that I have here, but if that doesn't help... Well, anyway. Oof, so this was some proper... This round seems to have been some proper Eternal stuff, right? I mean, we've seen some really, really funky plays. We've seen some... fancy things happening, and again, at least so far, I see 4 sweeps and 2 splits. Let's see what the 7th game result was in general in a second. And this was round 3 of 4, and I think at this stage we only have 1 player that has not been stopped just yet, which seems to be Asger on his unusual Smurf account, unless it's a different player that's using a very similar combination of letters for their username. This was a split, by the way. It's probably Asger, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, must be Asger. Okay, so standings are being updated as well. Yeah, let me just walk you through the results very quickly. That's gonna be round 4 starting soon.
Very happy to see that this wizard is like both we have seen, especially this round, we've seen that Eternal definitely can provide with some very, very nutty combo plays, as we saw in the Diaper versus Bombo matchup.
Oh yeah.
But we can also see, although we didn't see that much unfortunately of it this game, that there are runners like this wizard which are able to control even those very, very unfair prison strategies and can play a fair game. And similarly,
Absolutely.
we can see on the corpse side that there are decks like Scorpius, which we saw in round 1, which can also play a fair game. So Eternal has a very, very wide range of play styles, which it hopefully will be able to support all of them. We will have to obviously see with more testing if there will actually be some decks which are just like way too far out of the norm basically, but so far it looks like everything is very far out of the norm. So yeah, everybody's probably inside that extended norm, if you want to say so.
Yep. And I hope the keyword for Eternal at this stage, just because of the size of the card pool and the possibilities of playing wild stuff that just... like, the average standard / startup player just doesn't think about. I hope the keyword is not frustration for anybody, because it's just... I would say it's Netrunner at its fullest. Maybe not its finest, because fine, you know, to make something fine, you have to spend time and kind of tune it. So this is where standard should be at some point, you know, like when you are able to fine-tune it and so on. But this is just at its fullest. You have the whole of Netrunner. What Losgig was talking about earlier on. A format in which you can experience all of it, or as much of it as possible, that every card is playable. And I'm not gonna, of course, say that, yeah, well, there are 2 cards that you shouldn't be playing, like Watch the World Burn and Hired Help, which are just not legal in any way whatsoever. And then the 2 banned cards explicitly. But everything else is playable, it just costs some points, which we're all fine with, I guess. And in this format that's just so full of options, we have some clear leaders in the testing session here. So we have the Gagarin and the Wizard unbeaten so far, at least in this iteration. And they seem to have been having a rougher time in hands of other people, but we also have Harpsichord and Isla and Scorpius and Max, so it looks like Anarchs are just good enough to do stuff. There's also, excuse me, Sports Metal Lizard, Talking Thunder. So yeah, we have almost everybody in there minus Jinteki. Are you surprised that nobody's playing any mini factions?
No, not at all. Mini factions are definitely severely limited by having to pay influence on more and more of these cards. And as usual, the cards which are definitely on the more powerful side, most of the time also cost a bit more influence. So building a mini faction deck probably struggles a lot against against the influence barrier.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, we have the pairings here. I'm just going to take a very quick back and forth just to see. We have Whiteblade and you on table 3. I want to see if Whiteblade has a chance. If you sweeps, there's also a chance. Astrobake and Percomis. That's table 4. Table 4 looks a bit like a mirror match. Would you be okay with starting with table 3, or should we go table 2? I'm saying this just because Asger on the Gagarin Wizard probably is going to be in the cut, and Man in the Moon as well on the Harpsichord. Harpsichord in the cut, that would be amazing.
Oh yeah, that's really sweet.
Yeah, so should we watch table 2, table 3? Any other preferences?
I think we can go with table 2. I'd be interested to see if we can see the 2 fair decks basically fight it out.
Yeah.
Like the Wizard versus the Scorpius might be very interesting.
We had 2 players drop in the meantime, so there's only going to be 6 tables this round. Losgig is doing a lot of background magic, organizing, running things, and whatnot. And I have a question in the meantime. How is my Star Trek knowledge in one of my chats? So I have very low Star Trek knowledge, by the way, if anybody's wondering. I have no idea what Star Trek is. Is that the one with Luke Skywalker fighting with Gandalf to stop Voldemort from something? I don't know. Anyway.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sounds like it, right? That's like the last 20 years of, or 500 years of pop culture summed up in a sentence. Waiting for the folks to see what are they going to do, but they should be setting tables up. Is my JNet wonky again?
I'm seeing 5 tables right now.
Jeez. Okay, that means I have to log in.
The 6th table up.
No, I'm just gonna try and log in again. I have the worst experience ever today with JNet, and I'm really sorry to everybody hoping to see games here. Okay, table 2 we said, right?
Yeah, we said table 2.
Yeah, so as long as it's gonna be working, I'll try to stream, and then I'm just gonna be hopping between my accounts to make sure it actually works. Meta saying, Eternal feels like the Star Trek mirror universe. So was it a universe full of mirrors? Was it made in a mirror? Was Alice living in there? I have no idea.
Actually, never heard of that. It sounds like a shattering revelation.
But the thing is, are you a Trekkie or are you like, do you possess the knowledge? Because I don't, I have to say.
I don't trek very far. Usually I stay at home.
Sorry. That was a good one. That was a good one. Okay, let's hope we are gonna get Lost Geek here back with us.
Yes, I am back. I have done all the things that a TO should be doing, I think, including a really hard judge call. So,
yeah,
I think the final round is a go.
You can now take your TO hat off and you can put on your commentator hat. I'm leaving the two of you as well. If something breaks, shout at me. I'm gonna try and fix it while we are riding this train towards the end of round 4. And we are on
I would
table
actually
2.
quickly hand back the TO hat to Lost Geek. I believe you still have to start a timer for round.
I think I did. I think there is a timer running. Yes.
Oh, there it is. Sorry. I scrolled by it. Yeah, never mind. Ignore me.
Okay. Well, we're not going to ignore you because you're one of the commentators. So over to the two of you. Thank you so much. And here we are with round 4. This is going to be exciting, hopefully, and without any problems, hopefully. I'm looking at you, Janet. Please don't let me down this round.
Yeah, we have a very unusual start out of this Gagarin deck, at least from what we've seen so far. We've seen credit, Ice Up HQ. Looking at the chat, they actually did keep their hand. I would assume this was just a bad mulligan, but apparently they were probably very afraid of the Count Siphon.
Yeah, I'd assume they know that they're playing against the DLR deck and want to keep HQ at least a bit safe.
Yeah, I think that's the common read right now against Max. That it's definitely some sort of DLR deck with the Count Siphon and DDoS.
Yeah, and also in round 4 of a tournament, there is quite some talks happening behind the scenes, so it might be that the players also
the
end up
evil
knowing.
Scouting.
Yes, this the ever-present scouting might have happened at this point, I think.
Right, so we do see the Count Siphon landing still, helped by a DDoS to stop Gagarin from using that one ice that they have.
Yes. But we have a lot of money coming in for the corp at this point with a Drudgeberg, which will probably just churn out some agendas. We've got an SSL for 3 credits. Let's see if they keep leaking their magic magnum opus that also makes their agendas disappear. An NAPD for 2. And trashing the paparazzi, of course. So...
Yes, from what we've seen so far from the Gagarin deck, their main game plan against these tag me strategies. So far, I think they follow the same strategy against the counter-surveillance deck, is that they are looking to go after the paparazzis and then killing them via a high-profile target.
Yeah. Killing them dead is a good option if one of your cards says deal 1 million damage, and so loading respecting the high-profile target threat removes 2 tags at this point. Yeah,
very, very tame start. Max does have an easier time removing tags than Liza does, because Liza just keeps tagging herself and usually has to go quite a bit more all-in, usually, on tags. Can't, wait until she can finally tag it herself. Yeah, but we see, there it is again. Mumbai City Hall, installing a museum, installing a Jeeves. Putting Max under a lot of economic pressure with asking if they can manage to trash all of this.
I think Vesper dropped off the internet once more, because Vesper's account has disconnected.
Yeah, looking at stream, we are also missing one of these installs with the Mumbai City Hall, unfortunately. So yeah, we see another DDoS account siphon combination, actually using the same thing to replay this account siphon. As a counter to that, Performance is rezzing their assets to dampen the economic blow of this account siphon. This time there aren't actually any economic assets hiding, so it's not like they will instantly recover from this with a commercial bankers group, but they are probably able to fetch something out with the Mombat City Hall to fix that problem.
Yeah.
I don't
Also,
know what yet.
they
yeah.
still have one Drudge Work token left, so if they find any agendas, they instantly turn to money as well.
All
So
right, just
they-
shuffle back government takeover for easy 6 credits, probably.
Yeah, exactly. I remember a certain regional where that happened, I think like 4 times in the span of 10 turns or something, and the corp just kept on shuffling the same government takeover and back and back. So, also definitely an option.
Right, so we do see the Mombat City Hall trash here and subsequently shuffled back with the museum. Oh yeah, and we do see another agenda shuffled back with the Drudge Work.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wasn't the Gagarin deck on Friends in High Places?
Yes, I think so. So
Okay. So there might actually have been a point to trying to keeping around the Mombat City Hall in the archives to be able to get it back with the Friends in High Places, right?
yeah, I think that's also an option, but maybe just having it in R&D will be worth it. Somewhere. Oh, we see an hacktivist meeting. So
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Now
that's definitely bane of asset strategies.
yeah, and now every single res of a card will cost the corp.
Also-
Random trash, but nice combination with Museum of History. Just shuffling back
That's
the card that
true.
got trashed.
Yeah, also to circle back to the Friends in High Places, I guess Estelle Moon plus Commercials Bankers Group are good enough targets to get back, probably.
Yeah, I think this deck does not lack targets to recur, even at this
That
point
is
where
true,
they have
yeah.
shuffled back a lot of cards. Yeah, they've got enough targets at this point of the game. Although the Drudge Work probably has done its work for now, as a lot of agendas have been shuffled back already. Ice
There
going
is
up to
actually
Museum.
an Alliance card which I haven't seen yet from them, but I wouldn't be surprised if they play it. Does this play Clone Suffrage Movement?
That is a good question, actually. I'm
It seems like
sure.
it would fit into the whole like theme and plan of the deck, being able
Yeah.
to.
Although the deck does not have that many operations to actually recur, so I don't know if it made the cut in the end, because they have to probably pay influence for it. I'm not sure if they actually have enough HB cards in their deck to have HB Alliance.
I mean, they do have Jeeves, right? Are they just paying up front for Jeeves in terms of influence?
I am not actually sure, and I will
Ah,
refrain from
interesting.
looking at the list, because as I've said, I know that they've tuned the list quite a bit over the course of the day, so who knows what they actually ended up with.
Okay, interesting. But yeah, that's definitely. Anyways, we do see Max setting up more and more of their board here. Right now, we are missing only on 2 credits, so a single high-profile target doesn't kill yet. But yeah, also Jackmate is actually mentioning in chat 3 Moon, 3 Friends is probably their HB
Yeah.
Alliance.
That does make. Oh,
Oh.
there we go. Okay, never
Well,
mind.
Just have 2 of those.
Just kill a bit.
Cleaned out.
Use the first 2 clicks for consulting visit. Use then a high-profile target, and even has a click left because Jeeves is so nice. So yeah, this is how it can go sometimes.
Yeah, this does definitely make me look quite differently at my Liza deck that I was playing, which was performing oh so well in JNet Casual. Not performing so well anymore, I guess.
Yeah, these kinds of decks can actually deal with your Violent Net Pavilions or just pay the tax that you put on them. Although the Liza decks, depending on what form you're actually playing, also have access to Dummy Box, which is a good way of protecting your cards indefinitely and being able to keep those paparazzis on the table.
Okay.
Yeah, I was on Dummy Box.
Table 2 being remade, so we're gonna jump in again and
Yes.
try and hopefully it's not gonna break. If it does, I'll try to again repair it as can, but maybe it's just eternal, you know, and there's a hacktivist meeting in my computer and I have no idea about it. I don't know. We'll
Yeah,
see.
do you have cards in hand? If you don't have anything to trash, you can't actually raise the stream, you know?
That's true, that's true.
Fair enough, fair enough. Okay, here we go again. Repeat of the matchup. Well, not the matchup, the players, of course. Scorpius versus Wizard. Here we go. Good luck to both.
Oh, there is someone saying in chat that 3 Moons, 3 Friends would be 12 points. It's actually important to mention that the Eternal points, you are paying the points per playset of that card. So 1 friend costs 2 Eternal points, and 3 friends would also cost only 2 Eternal points.
So this means that Moons and Friends on their own just make up 4.
Exactly. This is a common misconception people have about the Eternal format. Usually it's very nice when you get to tell them, no, you get to play more of those broken cards. Like, I haven't met someone yet who's went like, oh no, I get to play more of the good card to play again.
Yeah, but I
Usually
think
people are very happy about it.
on the other hand, actually going up to 21 points and saying that you pay for each of your cards is actually worse, because there are a lot of powerful tutor effects in this game, as we've already seen in the Gagarin game. So being able to tutor your card that you paid points for would actually make the points even less relevant and allow you to play more of the broken and strong cards, and make also the job of the Eternal list quite a lot harder.
Yes, definitely. There was definitely a point where you chose to go up from 5 Eternal points to 7 Eternal points. I believe that was to add more granularity to like your point distribution, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because some decks weren't able. You couldn't let some decks live because 5 points were not enough to allow them to have all the cards that they need. If they shared a card with another deck that also needed some targeting, so going up to 7 points actually made the choices as the I guess curator of the format a lot easier, as it is easier to slightly shift the numbers around and make things work for every kind of archetype.
Yeah, that's very nice.
So looking back at the game, both players are interested in
Oh,
removing cards from the heap. Let's see if this blue moose will find enough targets, actually.
that's quite the current to see enter the table with this board state.
That as well. There are 2 Jacksons on the table and both are blank.
Yeah, Rumor Mill has definitely been, in my experience so far, been one of the most important cards for runners to have, since it not only blanks the most obvious choices in the 2 different versions of Jackson, but it also blanks, I think one of the most important cards right now is Estelle Moon, so it also fights against that card and some other cards as well. There are definitely a lot of cards which Jeeves, for example, gets hit by it as well.
Yeah, I today have played a testing game and have used the deck using Jackson and Anoretic Void, and all of these cards suddenly were blank. And
yeah, Caprice Nisei also gets hit, right?
Caprice Nisei gets hit, Rashida gets hit, MC Austerity Policy gets hit, and a lot of the cards that you might be able to put in a server and try to play some sort of game plan around just stop working, and at that point the entire deck just is able to crumble. So some decks actually need to play counter currents to fight this. I don't know how the Scorpius will deal with it. I guess an underway renovation is a good way of taking a few pot shots at the runner.
Yeah, just score something. Just get rid of it that way.
But only hit a Stimmick and an Inject, so no breakers actually falling victim to this underway renovation. Just yet. We don't know if Peter will be able to actually get into server 3 and steal this agenda before it starts really trashing a lot of their cards.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Heap is definitely being kept clean by both players here, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. I guess this crowdfunding also only has 1 more turn to live before it will be removed from the game as well.
That is true. It does get trashed by whether it trash itself, and Scorpius does get to trash it. That, however, does leave a window open here if Scorpius does choose to trash it for Wizard to maybe try and get something in the bin.
Yeah.
Which usually would be susceptible to Scorpios.
Yeah, definitely. Also, this is a kind of risky inject, because if you hit one of your bin breakers, this also just
Yeah,
might
that's
mean
true.
that you end up removing your own breakers from the game. But Precom is being pretty lucky here, only hitting cards that are not programmed, so the Scorpius ability staying active and probably just munching on this third laundry, I guess.
Yeah,
Or
it
not.
very much is a judgment call at that point
Yeah,
for the
but
inject.
it seems they're not using it just to... Or maybe they're still thinking about it. I think both players are in voice chat as well and are discussing things more easily than over text-based chat, I guess.
Yeah, what would a tournament be without voice chat?
Exactly. Now we are seeing a run on server 3, hoping that this is something else than a barrier, but as we've already
Nope.
previously seen, this is probably just a deck list full of barriers. Which means that this underway renovation gets to...
Ah, yeah, and we do see the discard trick used to get this Black Orchestra in the bin.
But we are not seeing any further triggers of underway renovation, but instead Sir Loathing decides to just score the hostile takeover.
That's
So,
reasonable here because it frees them from the rumor mill, which they can actually instantly remove from the game. And now they do also get to remove this crowdfunding in theory if they choose to do so.
yes.
So yeah, Sir Loathing probably choosing not to score this underway here because they think they might need that money they get from the hostile to res more ice on their servers instead of just milling more cards.
Also, I did hear back from the rules team, and it seems I did actually rule correctly, or they, on first glance, think the ruling was correct. So you can actually use your wizard credits to use Salted Slums. So now
Alright, nice.
Okay, now we're seeing the underway renovation hit a lot of cards. They did choose to remove the MK Ultra. Does this mean they're not actually on barriers only? This is quite interesting.
I'm not sure at this point, since it was their last click. I think they choose to just remove anything once per turn, just to keep the food for the blue moose a bit lower.
No, they did actually have one more click, but they chose to...
Oh right, they hedge funded, right. I
hedge
misread that.
Also, Perkamus just had a paperclip in hand, so either way,
Oh yeah.
this does not make any difference, and this underway renovation will get stolen.
Ooh, and there is a hippo.
Hippo hitting the table. This also means that what's it called again? Hunter Seeker is active for next turn. So
Yeah,
if the
it's
clock
very,
is
very
active to
dangerous
it,
for
that paperclip
Peccoms here.
Yeah, that paperclip probably does not live for long, and there we go. Hunter Seeker to trash paperclip.
Yeah, this type of Scorpion definitely is a very, very good meta call for this first tournament. I feel like runners just aren't expecting this type of threat right now.
Yes. So I remember a time when Scorpius was actually standard legal, where every shaper was forced into playing 3 copies of Sacrificial Construct just to keep the breakers safe, because as most shapers do, they just run 1 copy of every single breaker to be able to fetch with SMC, and that is not a good plan if you're playing against Scorpios.
Yeah, very much so. I wonder... Yeah, it will be very interesting to see what the meta reaction to this type of Scorpius would be. There are definitely some lists which have a way easier time of dealing with this. For example, stuff like, I think CS Liza might actually have a fairly good matchup against this if she can dodge the high-profile target at the right times.
Yes.
Because usually you play 3 of your AI breakers in those decks, because you are a 50-card deck and you need to find your break at some point.
Yeah, that is correct. But I think these kind of decks are also do have access to All-Seeing Eye and high-profile target as a kind of a counter-tech against
that is true.
all of the Take Me strategies. So an Arcade on R&D, and I think Perkum is just forcing some reses here to be able to get some quick accesses, maybe score some points that way, without actually needing the paperclip to break the ice. And also doing a run on Jackson Howard here to force them to use it earlier on and only shuffle back 2 cards.
Exactly, since Sir Loathing is this low in credits right now, it was probably the best time for Perkumus to try and get into those servers and for some more reses.
Yeah.
There's some... Yeah, there are definitely still some things in Eternal that I think are very untouched, which I haven't seen played at all right now. Because, so I haven't seen actually a single APOC deck, like dedicated APOC style.
Yeah, I'm also wondering about that because in the past, APOC definitely has been a viable choice in Eternal, especially because of all of the different asset-based decks where you can just reset the board, as well as these kinds of decks where having a paperclip for 1 turn means that you can just clean all of the barriers on the board. And even if your paperclip gets removed the turn after, you probably have access to 2 more in your deck. When we see another Underworld Renovation hitting some cards. Wondering if they're gonna if they're gonna remove this MK Ultra from game. They are. I actually do wonder whether they are playing anything else than barriers, because the only thing we saw from them in all the games that we spectated are barriers, I think.
That is true. Maybe they are playing like a Singleton or a 2 of Archer, just as a very, very strong tech choice or like surprise choice in these lists. It seems like a reasonable assumption, which would be the reason to remove those MK Ultras. But yeah, otherwise, I don't actually really see any sentries right now that would be worth playing in Wayland.
I guess there's stuff like Colossus, but most of the sentries are really expensive and are probably also pretty problematic to get on board in these kinds of economic fights, I guess.
Yeah, that is true.
And also reading chat, yes, Cable Carnage, this is commentating.
Yeah, it's us too. That you named.
So,
Talking about economic warfare and like the general theme of that, we have only seen like the big economic attacking forces usually have been account siphon stuff, and we haven't actually seen any Andes this tournament. Nobody has actually chosen to show up with just good old run-based Andromeda with just probably account siphon and why can't I remember the standard version right now?
Diversion. Yeah, this is actually interesting. I think maybe Andromeda was the most obvious choice, and that's why people tried to go for a different route. Because I think if you go for the full route of, I don't know, Temujin contracts and crowdfunding and just go run-based all in, you just might run into some really ice-heavy decks that stop that whole plan from working. But I guess. Oh, I'm getting asked for a judge call, so I think I would hand over to Vesper once again and be back in a few minutes.
Here I am. I hope this is not gonna crash and explode when I start using my voice again. This looks like a fair game of Netrunner, right? I mean, there's a lot of RFG happening. Scorpius is doing its thing. I love the underway renovation here because this is just saying, yeah, I can score points, but no, I'd rather mill you out. And here we go. Wizard hitting 0. So what do you think? Is Wizard out of this game now, or what are the chances?
I'm not sure. It definitely isn't looking good. I'm not sure if they have any way of trying to get into servers without this one paperclip. I'd assume that they probably are playing a second paperclip since we have seen 2 MK Ultras so far.
Yep.
But otherwise, we actually see a second MK Ultra, like the third MK Ultra and 2 Black Orchestras. So at least 3 of those 2 breakers. There might be 2 more paper clips waiting in hand. Unfortunately, most Scorpius are also playing 3 Hunter Seekers and probably also ways to recur them, so...
Yep.
Yeah,
all
tough.
Hunter Seekers are online, technically speaking, because we did see some cards going face down into the bin, but there was this premature Jackson use forced by Percomis's run that did shuffle the Hunter Seeker use to trash the paperclip. Oh, sorry, to RFG the paperclip with that particular move. Clutch Rebirth to Quetzal, says Zombie in the chat. Why not? I mean, that would work a bit, right?
That is true, although I'm not sure if they have space for that influence-wise, because they have at least 3 points in this one Desperado, 3 crowdfundings, which are another 9 points up to 12, and then there is a second Desperado for another 3 points, so that's the total of 15 influence points spent. Unfortunately, no rebirths here.
Poor Wizard has more cards RFG than they have on the table right now.
That is true. We can see that Percomis is going for somewhat of a desperate play, since they don't have any ways to avoid scoring agendas. They are choosing to go for big multi-access here with this medium, hoping to get as many agendas at once as they can. And yeah, the Corp obviously not choosing to rest the outermost ice on R&D to be able to avoid getting anything trashed with the Hippo.
Here we go again.
Yeah, let's see if they can get in there. And more importantly, how often they can get in there. I mean, they're probably just gonna run 4 times a turn here, right? No reason not to.
Guess so, exactly. I mean, you have the money, the Corp is too poor probably to res whatever is on the outermost R&D position. The Corp is also on 4 points, so you're confident that there's more points somewhere in those 25 cards. Percomis did poke HQ a bit here and there, and we didn't see anything interesting other than big ice and border controls, which are not really the ticket here at this stage.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Actually, these runs on R&D are costing them exactly 0 credits, because they get 1 credit back from Desperado, and the Corp does have 1 bad publicity.
Yep.
So these are quote-unquote free looks, although accessing an agenda is everything but free right now.
Oh yeah.
And here come the crowdfundings.
Because you need more money.
I mean, why not?
Yeah. Here comes the Purge, which is the best line of playing here, I guess, because you just want to stall the runner as much as you can. But again...
Yeah, probably. You're just sitting here waiting for the right time, basically.
Yep.
Just waiting for the runner to access exactly 1 agenda.
Yeah, it's a bit like the game... I mean, I'm not trying to say that the players are useless here, but I'm just saying the game is on autopilot in a way, because the best possible line of play is what's happening right now. And I don't know what else is there. I mean, you could poke archives, which is a waste of time in a way. There's probably nothing in there. Or maybe it's just poisoned with 1 agenda to make sure that you can fire your Hunter Seekers and just get rid of the pesky icebreakers. But for now, we have...
That's not unlikely.
Yeah. And...
this is the type of agenda. Oh yeah, Cable Carnage is actually pointing out that Percomis is choosing to actually... I was confusing medium wording basically with conduit wording, but what Percomis is very, very smartly doing here is they are always only accessing 1 card.
Yeah.
So that once they access an agenda, then they will actually go for the deep dig.
Yep.
That way they get to see the most cards possible. It is true that this game is kind of playing itself right now, but I think this is the type of here. Yeah, and they are actually shortcutting at this point, because running 4 times isn't actually... Yeah, this is just a nice way to shortcut this.
Yeah. It's like an agreement. It's like, okay, let's say I just do this, and then you probably have a shortcut for purging. I mean, there's a button for this, of course. But still loading might be doing something else. This is the thing. 5 no, purge makes sense. More cards in archives. Serial loading definitely needing something here. I mean, waiting for the right moment is definitely a good point. Or a good
I'd
idea.
assume that they have everything that they need. They must just be sitting there with 100 Seeker in hand.
Yeah.
Maybe even 2 to trash both the medium and the paperclip.
Yeah.
Yeah, and once again, setting cards to 4.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Calling it a day. It is a bit of a waiting game right now, but it's definitely,
Yeah.
the very interesting game still, I think.
I mean,
It's interesting how well this R&D is holding up.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's like, okay, you keep digging. I wouldn't be surprised if Sir Loading dumped, I don't know, like 3-4 agenda points into the bin at this stage. But I mean, of course, we have no idea, and we will only learn if Percomus decides to go for an archive run. But yeah, I would just bet that there's like 1 card in there that could be an agenda. Okay, maybe 2, but still it's a bit too risky. So even holding the cards in your hand at this stage is better because the medium does nothing with the HQ cards. And Percomus is just floating in money here. The runner's just, 40 credits. And like you said earlier on, it's all free. It's all free real estate, basically. And again, it's probably going to be a purge.
Yep.
Yep.
What a lock.
CF Percomus. Is this like CF's conceit? No. What about the value? Oh, okay. Sorry.
Oh yeah, crowdfunding.
Crowdfunding, yeah.
Isn't being brought back, but yeah, crowdfunding doesn't do anything. Yeah, the runs are free because Percomus is gaining 1 credit of Desperado, and the corp does have. Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
And the corp does have 1 bad publicity.
Above the law, so this is not going to be automated anymore. Let's see if there's luck in this. There we go. Oak down. This is looking rough. Penultimate click. And
oh
yes,
yeah,
bam, got it.
There it is.
Got him. But like, oof, this was, yeah. In a way, you could say, well, this is probably the way it would have ended. But that was the thing. Like, Sir Loading was just playing the waiting game here, just going, yeah. Like, there's gonna be this moment where I will be able to strike. Unfortunately, medium with this R&D just had a bit too much of a good time, and Percomus managed to get to the point. But yeah, hard fought indeed. I mean, this was some serious business.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure if Sir Loathing could have done anything like more productive at this point, because the turn he chooses not to purge and instead chooses to probably install an ice on R&D to make these run cost anything is the point at which Percomus gets to have like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 looks, like 8 deep with medium, which is so much more likely to find him the 7 points. So he probably was forced into this position where he needs to purge every turn.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this was pretty much of a necessity for the corp to survive this, and it ended the way it ended. But let's see what else is left. We have table number 1. And then we have Wildblade versus you. Let's take a look at Wildblade versus you, because I think this is the table which potentially could mean Wildblade's access into the top 3 cut, depending. I mean, we have no idea how the first game went, or if this is the second game or whatnot. But here we have on this table the Lisa with 3 agenda points and 8 tags on her for good measure. On the other side, we have you piloting Sports Metal. We've seen you doing quite the amazing dance in going back from 6-0 to 7-6. Or sorry, it was 6-1. And then it was the points in one turn just to out-combo the combo. But I don't remember, and maybe you will remember, was this deck packing any tag punishment? I don't think so, right? It's...
Usually the calibration testing decks don't have enough room for tech punishment
Yeah.
because they already need to spend 9 points just on the 3 calibration testing,
Mhm.
and then they're usually spending the last 6 points on 2 Estelle Moons to
Yeah.
complete this combo.
Okay,
And
this-
yeah, unfortunately in this matchup, the U doesn't really have as many interesting or complex plays as they had against the Diaper matchup, because what this Lysa is most likely looking to do is just go for one giant counter surveillance dig.
Yep.
That said, there is still the option of oh, and now we are on 4 points, which usually is the point where a game changer really turns on.
Yep. And you has very little money, but yeah, we have a question. My dear judge question.
Interesting.
Is my ID a card ability? Ooh.
Oh, interesting.
Well, it is a card. It isn't played in a way. I mean, things get flipped and so on, but then again, it is a card ability. Yeah.
Yeah, according to Whiteblade, and yeah.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. This is the thing with Eternal, given all the combos, given all the combinations and possibilities, sometimes you get into those very philosophical questions. Like,
Yeah. Is this a card? Am I a card? Are we all cards?
what is more important, clicks or credits? But can you actually stretch a click or bend the credit? And things like this. I mean, and then, yeah, exactly. What is a card in play? What does it mean to play? And all those things. It's all fun. Unfortunately for Jeeves, model Bioroid's the only Bioroid in the game that are not a subtype Bioroid card. Objection, as Ace Attorney would say. What is his name? Well, whatever.
I think it is Ace Attorney, yeah.
Ace Attorney, right? Yeah, I was thinking like Ace Ventura, but there was a different Ventura. There was Ace. Yeah, exactly. Ventura is
Also
not even
a very, very good detective, though.
Absolutely. With some cool animal instincts. Anyway, so this Jeeves that's a Bioroid but not a Bioroid got trashed. Which Whiteblade could... I mean, this is just to make sure that the Corp doesn't really pull off any wild tricks. But honestly, with all the breakers on the table and the runner on 20 plus credits...
Oh, interesting things are happening now. We do see counters being put on the Mammon.
Mm-hmm.
Usually these types of Tag Me decks, if they get into this position against something that doesn't have a Tag Me threat, are in a very, very good position to win, because most of them are actually playing Mars for Martians, which at this point is basically infinite money. Yeah, there we go. Easy gain 15.
Yeah.
And yeah, now we can see the counter surveillance dig. He gets to dig 15 cards, actually 16 cards deep here, because Lysa's ability does trigger before the accesses with counter surveillance. So yeah, Whiteblade is very, very likely to access the last 3 agenda points to win here. There's also the chance of exactly this happening. Just stealing 3 nice veterans and realizing, oh, yeah, that's only 6 points and 9 non-existent points. And that's also a non-existent point.
Okay, the sleepers. That's another Vash. Okay.
Oh.
Whoa.
Yeah, this does also feed you quite a bit of money. That's just 6.
Huh?
6, notably not 7.
Yeah. Oh, that's a Vash.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
So you now with 12 credits, 3 clicks, 6 agenda points that are for real, and 3 Vashes. How many points is... Okay, well, never mind. Fast break.
Wow, okay.
Here we go.
Once again escaping by the skin of their chief, being able to, probably set up the combo here and win. Wow.
And there's this being Lysa, Tag Me, Mars is for Martians, counter surveillance. There's no poise to, pull off some sort of this is a clot, by the way, so no, or anything like that. This is just gonna be a huge turn for you. And let's see. I mean, there's Kali testing. There's Breaker Break Grid here, getting all these cards basically free reses. There's the 2, of course, team sponsorships, and we're off to the races.
Actually, yeah, and there are the rest of the clicks.
11 clicks.
That will probably be enough.
GG.
Breaker Bay gets these reses exactly enough. Actually, chat is mentioning something we didn't count out yet. Are there actually enough agendas to win? And Cable Carnage apparently did count it up, and yeah, there are exactly enough agendas.
Yeah, because it's 9 plus 6, so this is basically, if I'm not miscalculating, 15. And then there's... oh no, wait, does this make sense? There's 15...
Wait a second, there might be a bit of a bug here. Oh no, it's just out of triggers. The Mega Pre is actually 2 points here.
Ah, right, indeed! This is the trick. Because of that
it's
one break.
It's the only Mega Pre left too.
Yeah. And now you can just... But you don't have any 3-pointers, so what are you gonna score? Or do you? No, you're just gonna score 2... Okay, well, never mind. Don't worry about me, I'm just... Okay, here we go.
They are able to just score out as many 1-pointers as they want here, since each score is with the Baker Break Grid and the team sponsorships and the Arella trigger. They do get to score everything for 3 in what's basically a single paid activation window.
Yeah. Broken. Oh no, it's actually Eternal, sorry. And this is the thing, the more games I see here, this is not about the format being broken, it's just you have to think big, you know. I mean, this is the thing, you have to want it more, and you have to go big or go home, and you have to be a game changer and all that stuff. Like, you just have to go for it, and you can score domestic sleepers, which is a 0-pointer, of course.
Oh, actually, I think you is missing here that they can score domestic sleepers and click it to be the 3 points.
No, there's just no. There's...
Oh!
This was the only domestic sleepers, I guess. No more points, yeah. That was it. I want to point it.
There's only one... Oh, wow, 1 point off.
It's all thanks to the Shiv. Shiv, am I missing? Was there a card called Shiv?
Yeah, I believe there was a judge call earlier about Shiv. Losky isn't back yet.
Yeah.
But he might be able to clear up after the points have all been collected what the judge call exactly was about.
And I'm of course very, very sorry to all the Geist players. Of course, Shiv is a card that has existed since forever. It's just, I was like, wait a minute, what? It's like Eternal just getting in the way of my understanding of what's going on. But yeah, Shiv is a card that has predominantly featured in a lot of many places. Cable Counter saying, oh, I miscounted. Don't worry, I miscounted as well. I just thought there's like 15 agenda points on the runner side, yeah, and then there's 5 left with this extra point left from the Mega Pre-Qualifier. But let's be honest, I was expecting that there would be one more domestic sleepers or something, and there's only one apparently, because that domestic sleepers, if there was another copy, that's a win. You install Double Advance, score it, and so that's 3 clicks, and then you have 3 clicks still left easily to place one agenda counter, and then it does have that 1 point. So if there was one domestic sleepers more in this deck, then that would be a game for you. And this is the part, yeah, it's just a large-scale escalation, overpowered things going to up to 11 on a scale to 10, and so on. So let's just jump out of this super-powered game and let's go to table 1, because I think they're still at it. Maybe.
Yes, you gotta appreciate the theatrics by you, though.
Yeah.
Still trying to score out, making it look like they have the 7 points assembled, making their opponents sweat until the last second.
Ooh, now actually the masks are off. We don't have the Tutu Gugu or Gugu Tutu. We have Targeted Gut actually in the flesh as the non-Smurf account with a whopping, I'm not gonna count how many remotes, but we went all up to server 24 in the numbers for them, so there has been probably some trashes, but this is a lot of servers. Apologies to everybody who needs a set of binoculars right now to watch the stream.
Yeah, it's good old 14 servers right now.
Yeah.
This is the part of the acid spam deck where you definitely do need binoculars to find out what's installed.
Yeah. Jack made in chat asking maybe you didn't realize that sleepers could be worth points. I don't know. I guess if you're playing this deck, you do know, but this will probably go forever in history as we will never know. And we're just moving over to this game where a paywall implementation. Well, that's basically saying, please run, I need money. We maybe know if we see the list at some point. Yeah, but then we would be disappointed, wouldn't we? We'd be like, no, but you had to win. Well, whatever. There was a concession, by the way, and once a player concedes, that's basically saying, okay, I give up, and you win the game, and we're getting off this table and taking a break.
That is true.
Yeah.
I hope for you that they didn't have any points left, because that would be quite a bit annoying, probably, realizing that they could have scored out the domestic sleeper and clicked it.
Knowing that player, I mean, we haven't played too much, but I actually had the pleasure of hosting him as a co-commentator on one of the streams at some point. He's a player who knows a lot about the game, and I don't think, or maybe just being tired, it is possible to make all sorts of mistakes on all levels of play. But I'm pretty sure in Eternal, imagine if you just net deck an Eternal list without consulting the oracles and saying, hey, how do I play this exactly?
We do see the contract killer coming through here.
Oh yeah, this is just
finishing them off in combination with the here very, very interesting card.
Yeah.
Where is it in chat? The Urban Renewal.
Urban Renewal, which was we had it. Where was it? I lost.
It's like 5th or 6th line down.
Wait. Oh no, sorry.
Or
Here. Yeah, here. Oops. Okay, sorry. That'd be it. Okay, zooming in. We don't care about the remote. Oops. Now I lost it. Whatever. Everybody knows what Urban Renewal does because it was once the name, or it was a very highly touted card in one of the decks of the week on Netrunner.db. This corp looks fun, says Cable Carnage, and I'm worried, but okay. Let's just jump out. Yeah. This is scary. Okay.
Quickly, let's leave. Let's
leave. Okay, Man in the Moon versus Dr. Red was the last game, I assume. Graciously, Jaina decided not to totally murder my viewing experience as a viewer, as a spectator, so we had games without much interruption. Fun to see Asgard play Urban Renewal. He really hates that card. Well, this is the trick. It's like you pretend for years that you hate a card, and then suddenly you're like, haha. And people are like, no, but you hated that card. And you're like, well, you know, things had to be done. Games had to be won. I'm sorry. Well, anyway, let's sneak peek Cobra in the meantime, if my computer allows me to. Lost Geek, of course, doing triple duty: commentator, tournament organizer, and JNet developer in the background, because he's probably fixing some of the issues that people have reported with some cards in the meantime, just because he can. Or not. But anyway, we had 3 sweeps so far. We're still waiting for the confirmation of the last result. And we're gonna be, I think, we're gonna be moving to a break. Well, we'll see. We'll see about that, of course, because things have to be confirmed. Yes, we did have a judge call at some point. And okay, I think people are going to be basically wondering whether there's a break or not. Still waiting for their last table to update its results. And yeah, well, I mean, so far it has been quite good. The games we've seen, the games we could watch completely without any interruptions. Apologies once again to everybody on the stream hoping for an uninterrupted viewing. I was hoping for the same, but technology does weird things sometimes. And yeah, I'm really sure somebody has a hacktivist meeting around here. Like I keep hearing noises. There were some sirens in the background. I have no idea what's going on. But yeah. What was your favorite, I don't know, situation play of the day so far, or a moment where you just went like, oh yeah, Eternal?
I mean, that last one with just not having enough points to score out is definitely one of them. I also really loved the intricacies of the advanced assembly lines plays in the sports metal versus, what was it called, diaper matchup. But otherwise, yeah, just the completely misplaced fair matchup of Scorpius versus Wizard. Definitely also up there. And actually, I think that's my favorite because Percom has found this fairly interesting line of finding this type of lock with medium and still only accessing one card on R&D while the runs are free on that server to, build up those counters until he finally does access an agenda and then goes for the deep dig.
Yep. This was a very exciting deep dig in the last game by Eliza as well. It's like whenever you access more than, I think for me the excitement point is kind of 4 cards. Like 4 cards can, okay, you can see things, but if you access like N or more, it's like, okay, well, this is the thing. If there are traps, you're more likely to die. If there are agendas, you're more likely to win, and so on and so forth. It's always good to see those things. And Eternal is a high-powered, high-caliber version of Netrunner, so definitely cool plays happening. And I'm really, really curious because I would imagine there would be another tournament of this type in a way, or in this format after a while. With all the player feedback, I guess maybe there will be some changes to some cards, but I don't know. Like we haven't seen at this stage anything that would shout for attention, right? I mean, other than the, what is the name? Slums.
Yeah, Sunset Slums and some other cards coursing some very, let's call them intricate rules interactions.
Yeah.
Which definitely, it's a nice way to find out all the intricacies, especially also for the rules team, and also the free JNet testing of very obscure cards, as we have seen in Deck Deer, which doesn't seem to, unfortunately, be fully implemented or have some bugs associated with it, which might be causing some problems.
Yep. Okay, let's see. The timers have been cleared. Do we have the results in? Yes, we do. So I'm going to just very quickly zoom over to Cobra again. I was just waiting for this one thing to update. We had a corpse split on table 1, so actually Asger...
This harpsichord has been dominating.
Yeah, and Asger is not unbeaten or undefeated, but that's it. 21 points, which is a scary score, and we have a clear cut. Man in the Moon,
nice.
Yeah, Man in the Moon, also known as Abram, on the second with this harpsichord, like you said, it absolutely just whopping everything and everybody. White Blade on Sports Metal and Liza. This is cool. Look at the setup. We have Wayland, NBN, and HB, and we have all the factions. We have Shaper, Krim, and Anarch. This is the matchup for the ages, I guess.
It's perfect cut.
Yeah,
I really like how the whole community put together to just completely rig the whole tournament, so we could have that beautiful cut.
Absolutely. Okay, so just taking another peek on Discord. Thanks for everyone who participated in this testing tournament, which both tested the Eternal format and my patience with certain players. Ooh, maybe I shouldn't be reading this on stream, but no, this is of course like it's a pun, or it's a joke, or it's just Lost Geek trying to be funny.
I've heard they will be having big overhauls in the NWE testing team very soon.
Yeah, I think there was some sort of a friendly poke towards some players here. No, I'm kidding, of course. I mean, all the people playing today, absolute champs, regardless of the number of points. I hope everybody had a lot of fun, because this is what this is all about. It's a hard format. This is the hardest it gets with this game. I'm pretty sure. Like, there's just no way you can play this and not be good at Netrunner in general, because you're playing a scary meta in a way, in so many different ways, and trying to navigate this and bring something that's gonna work, or it's going to make it playable. Yeah, it's hard. So everybody playing today, whatever you feel like you performed or whatever, like you played Eternal. Like, this is more than many a Netrunner player can say about themselves at a tournament, including myself. And I would never try. It's just, unless somebody gives me a box and says this is the instruction, whatever, and then you have to watch out for this and that matchup, and I'm going to actually tell you which players are playing those matchups so you can avoid them. Maybe I would have a chance to score some points. But anyway, hardcore stuff. No Jinteki in the top cut, which is sad. I know people like it in the chat, but it's sad. I love Jinteki. I love good old, like, Jinteki is the other actual true Cyberpunk corp for me, I guess, in the lore or the way it works. Because Wayland is, of course, the usual, and Jinteki is just like, yeah, we're just gonna be evil and do things with biotech and experiment on people. That's very.
Pretty sure the biotic faction is HB.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but
I guess Jinteki is on the cloning side.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think actually for me, it's definitely. I think everything is pretty cyberpunk. Especially like NBN is looking the least cyberpunk, but once you actually read into what NBN is doing, it feels very cyberpunk.
You mean Facebook? I mean, yeah, no, or Google. Yeah, well, one of those.
No, that's the blue faction. The blue faction is criminal.
Oh well. Here we're again and waiting in the we're dropping into the chat for a sec just to see, because there might be a break. If there's gonna be a break, I'm going to. Oh no, they're actually. Everybody's good to go. Why are they good to go? I was hoping for like a 5-minute break. No, I'm kidding. Of course, I can do my 5-minute break while there's the most important point of the game happening, and I can just skip it. But it seems that. Oh yeah, so both players that are in the lower bracket, so to speak, and that are fighting for the chance to play against Asger, have to choose. Oh, there's a ruling. Okay. One of the players in Discord saying, it was fun even though I didn't know what I was doing for most of the games. I would be just like, yeah, I know I'm playing Netrunner, but I have no idea what's going on. Or I have no idea what could happen.
Being played.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay, that was basically...
Interesting.
Yeah, we have the ruling that was tricky about Shiv, so... Oh, because Shiv is not a decoder.
Whoa, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Ooh, we have to
there is
look it up.
actually such a thing.
Wait a second. Am I saying silly things on stream? Sorry, stream, if I'm breaking your flow, but that would be kind of weird if there was. Let's just know this is sacrificial construct because we were talking about this. Sorry, I'm just going to look Shiv up, and right now I'm going to put it on the screen.
Interesting.
Oh yeah,
I'll be gone
go
for a very quick second.
Yeah, indeed, Shiv is not a decoder. Dum. It's an icebreaker. It's a killer. Why did we think it's a decoder? I don't know. Why did anybody hit a decoder? It breaks. Oh wait, is there something weird happening with the universe? Wait, what? Are we talking about? Okay, I don't understand. I might be... Ah, okay. Ah, sorry. Thanks for... Yeah, okay. Okay. Eric, thank you so much for clarifying this. Okay. Yeah. No, okay. Perfect. That was just basically a misunderstanding about the cards. That's about it. Okay. It's a killer. It's not a decoder. That's it. Okay, cool. Like, what's going on? Yeah. The actual text in the errata card text update. Indeed. Yeah, well, let's not worry about it too much. If we get to that point, basically we have the most competent people around the table and whatnot. Table 1, there's no limit to this game. Okay, I should be going places, right? Because this is where we are in the top. The pairings are not going to be updated on Cobra, I'm pretty sure. Let's just take a look. Table 2nd place, final game. We're jumping in. I hope it's gonna work for everybody involved. I should be saying around 5. Now I should be saying top cut on this thing. Why doesn't it say top cut? Because nobody set it up. I really do hope that tomorrow I'll be able to just say, yeah, things just work, you know. Like I don't have to worry. I don't have to kick my computer under the table or over the desk to make sure it actually works. Huge thanks to Lost Geek, first of all, for taking the time with the crew. So everybody, Simply the Onion, sorry, with me on the stream as well. And then many other people named and not named over the duration of this stream who have been taking care of tweaking Eternal into what it is right now. Huge thanks to you for making this effort and for just making it fun for everybody, I guess, because we do have a lot of people playing. They're still setting up. Okay, so we're still just waiting. That's okay. And I was going to say, you know, there was a quick discussion recently online with somebody I will not name, because why would I name people? And there was this question like, what would happen if Nisei never happened? Like, the game would be like gone, right? It's like, I would say no. Not to diminish what Nisei has done or is doing or will do, because I know some things that I cannot tell you, but it's just, the community is just so creative, and there are so many people who really love the game that there would be something happening. And there's a ton of stuff happening all over the place, left, right, and center. So worry not. Whatever happens in the future, or whatever would have happened in an alternate timeline, I'm pretty sure this game would be going on. That said, I should shut up because we're in the top cut. And here we are on the table with shivs, not breaking sentries and whatnot, or not breaking code gates, whatever. Let's just make sure that we are all here.
Yes, I've also already made it back. Just didn't want to interrupt you.
Perfect. Awesomeness. Crowbar is sad. Yeah, because shiv, crowbar, what was the third one? Also something kind of spiky, right? No.
I mean, apparently it was the Zoo Keykeeper.
Yeah, the zoo, whatever, zoo 13, whatever. Spike, thank you. Asker, you're everywhere.
Oh,
because
yeah.
you're working on the game, right? So yeah, Spike, Shiv, and Crowbar. And if I remember correctly, only Crowbar is a metal band. Spike is not a metal band, and Shiv is not a metal. Oh, Shiv might be a metal band as well, but Crowbar for sure is a metal band. In case we're talking music again. Anyway, Anarcho Mushroom saying I played this matchup earlier this week. So what was the result? Please do tell. Inquiring minds want to know. In the meantime, I'll just tell you that Anarcho Mushroom and many other people are in the Itinerant Protesters Discord server, which is a place to improve your game and learn about stuff and basically have fun and hang out and whatnot. Everybody's welcome to join. There are no tryouts or anything like that. You just have to say, hey, I want to join, and somebody will just bring you in, or you will find the link in the right place. And it's a cool place to test stuff, ask questions, experiment and whatnot. And I think quite a few people have been preparing for this Eternal tournament, or just having fun with the Eternal format after the recent announcement about it, that there is this new scale of points. There are the cards that are definitely banned for good, but then everything else is playable more or less. And yeah, here we are, and I'm kind of excited to see the future of Eternal down the line, because it makes me think of my own format, which is called Lockdown. But anyway, never mind. We're off to the races. Maybe Lost Geek is going to be joining us, although he could be refereeing.
Yes,
you are. Okay.
I am back. I had to just do some rulings and send people deck lists, which I did forget in this whole shift business, and now we are off.
We're off to the races, and this is a quick score, Project Beal, and we go, and I leave the commentating to the both of you. Thank you so much once again, and I'm off to the booth to click buttons.
All right.
Yeah, let's have a look at what's going on over here. We do have already went way deep into turn 2. We can see Liza running as quickly as she can, having all of her protection already on the table. Just running everything that Harpsichord puts down, already up on 3 agenda points. Harpsichord sitting on 1. Very interested to see how this keeps going.
Yeah, but in this case, the general game plan of the Liza list, which is to use counter surveillance to get multi-access, is not actually possible. Because Harpsichord does say the runner cannot steal more than 1 agenda each turn. So we'll have to see how single accesses work for Right Blade in this case.
Luckily, Liza's ability does motivate you to still take single accesses on R&D and HQ. But yeah, there is quite a bit of danger involved in that still, because of all the things that Harpsichord has. And this Harpsichord, from what we've seen so far, is that it seems to be very heavy on kill punishment in terms of tag punishment. So yeah, getting wireless and paparazzi and dummy box on the table on turn 1 or 2 is definitely very helpful for Liza here.
Yeah.
Man in the Moon already deep in the tank. Trying to figure out where his all-seeing eyes are. Oh,
Yeah, just to make sure that White Blade will be tagged for the rest of the game. Fire off a mid-season
Sure.
replacement. Make sure that that number is not 2, but something like 8, maybe?
this
At
does
least-
completely... Oh yeah, 10 tags, sure. Just a few of those. Interesting play. This does feel... Yeah, exactly this card. Basically, Whiteblade will never ever have any more money problems this game.
But I wonder if money problems are actually what will kill him, because even having 8 cards in grip does not save him from a high-profile target, which will
That
at this
is
point
true.
deal a whopping 26 tags if that paparazzi ever dies.
Yeah, I don't remember. Was this harpsichord on Boom or on High Profile for the kill?
I think it was high-profile, and as the deck lists are now known to both players, I can also tell you that.
I believe
That
it was Boom because they were on
Harpsichord is on Boom.
24/7.
Yeah, you're correct that Harpsichord is on Boom.
This harpsichord is very interesting to me. This feels like the railgun type of thing that I was doing like one version ago, and also is combining with like the whole game changer things that I usually like to do out of sports. So yeah, this is definitely another type of problem. I thought you definitely had a very, very good solution against this, in that they were playing Imp and Friday Chip as a very, very strong trash engine. So they didn't even have to worry about actually stealing agendas. They could just trash everything, basically.
Yeah.
Not an option for Liza, though. Liza has to play this game
There is
fair and
nothing,
square.
there's nothing in this deck that actually trashes cards. So this has to be won the hard way.
Also, probably no film critics, since the influence on Liza is usually very, very tight.
Yeah.
You usually are on triple Mars for Martians, counter surveillance, and then you fill it up with dummy boxes, and you're probably already full at that point. I believe that's how usually deck building in terms of influence for Liza goes. Right, we do see a blast from the past here in the form of Mother Goddess, which I believe was classic to run in back in the day of an ice suite of literally just 3 Mother Goddess and nothing else, because then it would always just be mythic and you would be able to protect your servers fairly well with it.
Yeah, but in this case, having the AI breaker is actually really good, because that is the one thing that can break this mythic ice.
Exactly. Also, these days we have quite a few more ways to get by it. Oh, Cable Carnage is actually mentioning that usually you would also play 3 Excalibur, obviously, which also is mythic and thus doesn't add any subtypes to Mother Goddess. These days we do have way more ways to get around Mother Goddess than there used to be. There is both Boomerang and Botchless now, which both, get through Mother Goddess fairly efficiently. And also through Excalibur for that matter. You see Whiteblade keep recycling these class acts here. I wonder if they are that afraid of if they're just doing it because they keep drawing them, or because they are actually trying to prolong the game as much as possible in the fear of getting hit by a boom.
Yeah, but before Boom happens, the paparazzi actually needs to leave the table, so maybe
Yeah,
they're just doing it
exactly.
in preparation for the cop being able to get rid of the paparazzi in some way. But I think that way has to be the good old way of just trashing resources, which gets prevented by dummy box.
Yeah, that's definitely a very, very big problem here. I wonder what the... Oh, that's very smart. Using I was about to say, I wonder what the econ options are for this deck at this point. Apparently 24/7 news cycle is an econ option.
Yeah, that is correct.
Oh,
And
and
White
there's
Blade-
also retribution.
Actually using the Bookhalter trash to prevent the Mammon trash, so I guess one breaker protecting the other.
Very nice, keeping this Mammon alive at this point. Oh, and there's
2 more points.
just one more agenda to steal for Whiteblade here in theory to win the game. Man in the Moon very unhappy about that steal. And Whiteblade does follow up with an account siphon and a second paparazzi. So now there definitely needs to be something like an all-seeing eye to try and get rid of all of the assets at once. Not assets, but all of the resources at once here. Actually, does Dummy Box still prevent paparazzi trashes here?
Yes,
Yeah, it does, right?
it does in all sorts of ways. So like, even in an all-seeing eye case, all the cards get marked to be trashed, and then Whiteblade can decide to prevent some of these trashes. So even all-seeing eye would not help here, or like would.
I mean, it would help, but yeah, you still
exactly.
need
It
to
would help,
keep
but
trashing.
It would probably just lead to the grip being less full than it is right now.
Hail Carnage calling out self-growth program actually as an option here. Unfortunately, that does run into the problem of here them actually going up to 7 cards, and if Boom is your only kill condition, you actually can't kill at that point.
Yeah. And also self-growth program is actually not a part of this deck list, which we now know since at least the players have open knowledge of their opponent's deck lists.
There's also the question of where that 6 bad publicity came from. There was actually a 24/7 news cycle played to re-trigger the profiteering effect. Just for money. Yeah, and Tutgetut also mentioning that in chat. Yeah, Man in the Moon trying to figure out their lines here.
Oh yeah,
Slowly starting the trash war.
Cable Carnage also pointing out the part that I missed about All-Seeing Eye, which is the small little text that the runner may remove 1 bad pup to prevent this. So
Oh yeah.
they would actually need to play 7 All-Seeing Eyes to actually get rid of these resources.
Yeah, that would be tough to pull off. Guess you gotta go the traditional route now. In theory, there would be, well, there are 2 paparazzis now, but Hatchet Job could have been an option. It's just too expensive now, though.
Yeah. But the Corp now going down the resource trashing route and trying to get rid of all of the resources that Whiteblade holds in hand, but given the fact that there are 15 cards in stack and 5 in the grip, I would guess that a lot of money is needed to actually go through with those trashes.
Yeah, Archives actually being max poisoned here with 3 news teams, but fortunately Whiteblade on attack me strategy, so he doesn't care about taking those 6 tags. There is the funny interaction right now of Whiteblade actually having more tags than money, so he couldn't even go for a giant counter-surveillance dig here, even if they wanted to.
Yeah.
Although I'm pretty sure that they are likely to be drawing into a Mars for Martians fairly soon, which will obviously just fix those problems instantly. There is still one in the deck left.
There's just one in the deck left.
Oh, Market Forces. Market Forces does fix this money problem, that's true. Yeah, there are definitely... Usually there's quite a bit of, well, not complaining, but there's generally worry about tag punishment options being too binary in that kill is basically the only way to go. But once you actually do get into these types of spots, you notice how many different options there could be right now. In theory, the Man in the Moon could actually, I mean, if they had more money, could actually also win with psychographics plus Beal at this spot.
That is true, although there's only one Beal left in the game, and
Exactly.
getting enough money to get that 11 advancement Beal, I think, is pretty hard looking at all the account siphons going his way. And we've
Got a, oh yeah, and there's the Explodapalooza for the game.
7th point.
I'm really curious about the part where stealing that Beal was game. I assume there was a part of having psychographics.
Yeah, it's very could be very true that there was a psycho in hand.
I had it next
Yeah, they
turn.
did have it next turn. They probably drew that
Yeah.
Beal with their second click in that case.
Better lucky than... No, what was that? Better lucky than... No, there was something with being better lucky than not. No,
Good.
Better lucky than good. Yes, thank you. Okay, good games.
Better lucky than charm. I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
That's a good one.
What a card.
What a guard. Lucky charm, indeed. Well, yeah, it's even here on the table. Okay, so I think this means we're up to the finals because why not, right? I mean, why wouldn't be? Why wouldn't we be up to the finals now? I mean, seriously, the final is going to see Whiteblade versus Tuck to the God on, well, two wildly different decks. And can you just repeat, this is going to be a single game and the runner-up has to beat the first seed in order to have a second game, right? Or just the winner takes it all? Okay.
no, it's just winner takes it all. So it's like a single-sided game.
Okay.
It's just one match that is left to do.
Okay, but then the top player, the top seed gets to choose the matchup, right?
Yeah, in this case, to get good, so should be allowed to pick the matchup.
Yeah, I guess.
We do have a cross-continental championship here, fighting across the pond once again.
Yeah.
With this awesomely named Wholesome Decks.tournament/finale.
Yeah.
Which probably pretty well captures the gist of both of these decks, which are trying to do the most broken things possible in this format.
Who are we to complain? This is going to be quite interesting. 1 minute. Okay, so we're getting a bit of a break, and absolutely those players need all their time. We're gonna be finishing this fairly early anyway, I guess. I mean, for all the time it took. Honestly, we wrapped up a 14-person tournament in around 4 hours and a bit. So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, Eternal definitely providing the speed.
Oh yeah. Is this Mogag versus Tag Me Lisa? Yeah, the Lisa is definitely... Oh, sorry, Liza. I'm just reading it in weird languages, don't worry. Liza is definitely Tag Me, and Mogag... Is
Museum of History, Gagarin.
Ah, right. See, this is the thing. If you've played this card for the card game for a long time with a lot of different people who have a lot of different names, you know it all. I haven't, so...
Yeah,
Okay.
me too. I've only played it since 2020.
But you hang out with the right crowd, basically. I mean, you want to play Eternal. You're good at Eternal. You were building.
I mean,
decks for
if
this,
I
so-
know Mogag, I probably am not hanging out with the right crowd. Those are some very, very nasty people over there.
That is very correct.
Okay. You're just digging your own problematic issue here. I'm not saying anything. I was just trying to decipher a code name. But okay, Mogag. Museum of History, Gagarin versus Liza. That's going all Tag Me. We have an intercontinental game. So just to remind you, tomorrow we have the Intercontinental Championships happening with 12 people fighting in a very particular type of bracket. That's going to be explained in depth tomorrow. And that's going to be some high-octane standard format Netrunner. Today, though, we are still at the Eternal Testing Tournament #1 for the current iteration of Eternal. And joining me, of course, are Simply the Onion and Lostgeek, the illustrious TO and I would say, I don't know, like a sponsor of the format, I guess, or some sort of a thought leader for the format. How are you experiencing this testing? Do we have any conclusive evidence about something?
I don't know yet. It is
Perfect.
definitely one more data point on the whole landscape of things to consider, but I think when I think back to the time when Liza, for example, was really good and was dominating some of the tournaments, there was an like arms race between Liza and Argus decks, and which ended up in Liza including dummy box to keep paparazzis on the board, and then Argus actually playing self-growth program and high-profile target to get the paparazzis off board and kill them anyways.
Yep.
And it is, I think, such metagame developments are definitely possible in Eternal metagame as well, which might end up making the corp lists that kill actually change the deck composition. I have to actually send out deck lists for a second, so
Oh yeah.
please
No, take your time.
Yeah, I
take your time.
believe
excuse me for a second.
No worries. Go on.
I'm very I believe it's nice that we can see this type of Gagarin list actually, because I think this type of Gagarin didn't see that much testing in the Eternal testing Discord, if I remember correctly. So it's nice to see a very, very good group of players actually trying to figure out this type of deck.
Yep. It is.
Yeah, I think actually Whiteblade has been championing CS Liza in the Discord as well quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
As a very, very strong deck. So yeah, I'm very happy to see this here, since Liza is actually also the deck that I've been playing the most. Can be very, very fun. I mean, obviously it can be fun if you've ever accessed like all of your opponent's deck in a single access. It's always great.
Yep.
And Liza's ability has just so many things that it can do.
So in case you're wondering, of course, players do know each other's deck lists, or at least they have them available so they can do all matters of math and percentages and whatnot if they need to. And if you're curious about those deck lists and you have no idea what they're playing, I am pretty sure they're going to be published at some point, because bragging rights, but not only that, because they're just basically very interesting engines of mayhem and destruction and other things in Netrunner. So here we go with the first two tags already. And I gave over the commentary to my two lovely co-hosts, Lost Geek and Simply the Onion. I'm going to disappear into the woodwork once more.
Yeah, as we can see, Vesper finally running back into the woods, into the cable woods, probably under the desk, to figure out what was going wrong, unfortunately, during bracket time. We do see a very, very classic start out of this Gagarin deck once again, in raising a bunch of assets, getting an Estelle setup on turn 1 with 2 counters, while Liza is doing her classic thing of getting herself tagged very early on, and also already setting up a board. Actually, getting tags this early is quite risky against this deck, because it is running high-profile target as part of the tag punishment.
So at least for this turn, Whiteblade is safe, because 2 tags mean 4 meat damage, and with 8 cards in hand, even double high-profile target does not kill him yet.
Exactly. Actually, Runner is actually choosing to get rid of this class act to hopefully be able to stop Liza accumulating extra value after the 4 cards drawn. Yeah. However, Whiteblade does instantly have the reload of just playing another one, because why not? And trying to keep the board under control by trashing some of these very important money cards in the form of Commercial Bankers Group. Oh, and there's the City Hall once again. Getting out a museum. Nice.
I would expect at least one of these clicks going into trashing over. No, he already has gotten the dummy box.
That's a bit more important,
table.
yeah.
So this Urban Renewal actually now does nothing besides removing its final counter, trashing itself, and that's it.
Yeah.
And Asuka commenting on the 4 meat that just disappear into nothingness.
Whiteblade is very happy about this. That's also nice to meet you. We have both players actually setting up big parts of their engine now. This Gagarin deck usually just needs this Mombat City Hall and has access to most of its deck and the best cards in its deck. While the runner already has Wireless Net Pavilion, Paparazzi, and Dummy Box set up to protect themselves against most tag punishment that there could be. There are still some ways for Corps to hopefully break through this, but it will definitely take more than 1 credit to do so. So Whiteblade is fairly safe here and is probably looking to build up just more and more tags now. Hopefully be able to control the board by either trashing a bunch of things or hitting multiple account siphons to keep the money low. Yeah, and we will have to see how Gagarin is able to develop its board anyways. With only on 1 credit, we might be able to see if they actually do have money options to fetch with this Mombat City Hall. So far, we are seeing more utility-based alliance cards being brought out.
Yeah, Search Firm, Jeeves, and probably that Search Firm can also grab an Estel Moon when needed.
And there is a Bones.
Yeah, this will be quite helpful to get this board under control.
Also important to mention that the Desperado on the table, as you've mentioned in the previous matchup, is basically an employee strike versus Gagarin, because it completely offsets the ability.
Yeah. But once again, with paywall implementation on the table, actually these runs do make some net positive credit total, and that is on the Corp side. So all of
that
the
is true.
Gave Asuka 1 credit each.
And he did get a Mamba Temple on the table, which technically isn't real money, but it's Monopoly money, which is probably good enough to carry him forward here.
This fake money does everything that the real money does for all intents and purposes in this deck.
Yes, usually having just Monopoly money is also a bit less hurting for Corps, because usually runners which are based only on Monopoly money can run into the issues of not actually being able to pay for stuff like tags, and usually dying because of that. On Corp side, Monopoly money mostly comes in form of this Mamba Temple. I don't think there are many other options which ever saw much play.
There is the route, there is dedicated servers, and one more that I can't think of, which is something like interns but different on the art. I can't remember the card, but there are definitely some cards that do recurring credits, but none of them do it as well as Mamba Temple does, and I think it's the only card that actually saw large amounts of play in the lifetime of the game.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that.
So now we see run on HQ and no res here, so whatever that piece of ice is not doing enough work, and we see a treasure. Mammon for steal of SDS.
Yeah, that's very nice. Does lock them out of some of these servers somewhat, at least. And we do see that the Mamba Temple, Mamba City Hall was used to fetch a Mamba Temple. Very much staying on theme with that right here, and also that is the money option that the Gagarin deck is able to fetch off the Mamba City Hall, probably. Whiteblade very unhappy with the Corp having money, trying to control them as much as possible while they're still building up their own board state here.
But also keep in mind that the Zool that has been replaced for the Shift is actually in bin now, so this Hortum does not have a breaker at this moment. The Mammon, there are probably more copies of Mammon in the deck, but right now, that Hortum is ending the run.
More importantly, Mammon isn't actually active the turn you install it, so it's at least 2 turns that the Mombat City Hall will be sitting there uncontested.
Yes.
So yeah, that's basically the Gagarin engine completely online, being able to shuffle cards that were trashed back with Museum, instantly fetching them back out, and installing it. There are questions about chat about maybe there being something like Corporate Town, but yeah, this Gagarin doesn't ever score an agenda. It, I believe, only plays the big agendas and is looking to repeatedly shuffle them back with drudge work until they can hopefully finally get enough money to secure a kill with some kind of tag punishment, or actually the other line of the urban renewal plus contract killer for the kill.
But to be honest, if given a safe scoring remote, I could see this Gagarin is actually scoring out if they can find some credits to pay for the advancement tokens.
That is true. Oh, we do see a second Miss Bones here. Very important tech card, obviously, against these asset spams.
Yeah, this helps a lot against this flood of assets going on here.
Yeah, but it doesn't do the important bit, which is actually getting past this Hortum to get rid of this Mumbat City Hall.
That is correct. Several things seem to be decoders, but Miss Bones is not. So, at this point, I guess the HQ Ice is something that is not worth raising, but Server 10 is a safe one.
Yeah, I wonder what that HQ Ice is. I actually remember, how much is Tour Guide to res? Is it just 3?
I think it's even 2. Let me check. Long time that we didn't have this card in any playable card pool, but yeah, Tour Guide is just 2 credits to res. And at this point would have 4 and to run subroutines.
Well, that sounds fair and balanced.
Obviously.
Yeah, so this actually interesting what that ice could be. Maybe it's another Horton. Seems like, according to play at least, play dictates that it's definitely something that's for credits. I would be very surprised if they were playing something like Merciless here, because they are probably looking to spend that few ice that they are playing on ice that actually does end the run.
Yes.
Yeah, and Gagarin doing the thing. We need to scroll out more and more. Getting a big Estelle on the board. In theory, only on 1 credit, but can very easily jump up to 7 credits. Oh, but the single accesses do work out in favor of this Liza for now, as they are already up to 6 points. Only 1 more agenda to go, and yeah, steadily working their way up to the counter surveillance threat.
Yes. Now at 10 credits they actually have enough money to pay for the 7 tags that they have. But we'll see what the Corp now does with the now 6 credits at their disposal.
Apparently they are looking to get more Estelle counters online.
Yeah, cards and money are definitely a good start to dig yourself out of this position. But at this point I would expect that White Blade's hand more or less just consists of 5 resources that are able to get trash to dummy box. So there is a question of how much trashing he actually can afford at this point.
There is actually one card that I'm... Let me quickly check something here. Oh, interesting. Huh. I was just wondering about tech choices in this Gagarin list, and for some reason I was thinking that Malia should be something you should be able to fetch with either Executive Search Room or Mumbat City Hall, but apparently you can't fetch them with either, because she's neither Executive, Psysop, or a character. She's just a Bioroid. Interesting.
Okay. This is...
Otherwise,
But on the other hand, you could res it with Architects of Tomorrow if really If you
That
really
is true.
had
That
no
is
money.
true. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, otherwise Malia would be a complete blowout here because it could blank the paparazzi and then the high profile target kill is just one Mumbit City Hall activation for consulting visit away. Yeah, but that's not the case. I guess tech startup could fetch for it, that's true. But yeah, I guess because it's not fetchable by either of your most important cards in Mumbit City Hall and Search Firm, it's probably actually not in the deck.
No, and I can confirm it's not in the deck list. I could actually send you the Gagarin list via DMs on Discord so that you can also take a look.
Oh yeah, sure. That would be nice. And I don't have to like cryptically ask these questions.
There you go.
Yeah, let's have a look at this.
And...
Ew, I hate it. Thanks.
What did you expect? Let's be honest here.
Alright, yeah, cool.
So we've now got a moon on 4 counters getting popped, which means that there are 16 traders to work with and the Jeeves, which means that Asker can actually pay to use
Yeah, and
4
we see
basic
them
abilities.
keep on hammering on this paparazzi right now.
Yes.
And Wipe, they're actually throwing out forced to throw out a counter surveillance here to prevent the trashing of the paparazzi button. Not having enough to completely protect it, so...
This is an interesting point in the game. Does Asker actually have the option of...
Oh, he's just asking, why didn't you... Yeah, I wasn't sure if they were waiting on like maybe an action or just celebrating by jumping around the room. There
actually were no more resources in hand.
Oh, that's true. He completely ran him out. Ah, yeah, the Jeeves click. The Jeeves click. The very, very rare Jeeves click of triple trash resources.
That is definitely a way to win this game. That is very flashy.
Very, very nice way to win, yeah.
A truly bespoke Jeeves click, as we have in the chat from Mike. Yeah, absolutely wholesome. This was absolutely wholesome. This is just, hey, you're playing a broken game. I'm gonna break the game too with my broken deck. This was. Oh, yeah, now we have Asger saying, thought this was lost. I have no way to actually beat that deck. Well, yeah, better lucky than good. That's what it is. I have a thing here. Like, if you're very good players and you're playing and you're on stream and then you win, please don't say you like were losing. No, I'm kidding. Of course. I mean, kidding. This was really quite something to watch.
Yes, definitely. It was one side setting up a board state, but not knowing how to win. The other side setting up a board state, but trying to find the economy to get to the win, and then this just happened.
Yeah. And then Asger is a bit flabbergasted, which for people who don't know words with double B's basically means that he's surprised in a very unusual way and whatnot. But anyway,
and probably scores very highly on the next Scrabble game that you play.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Flabbergasted. That's a lot of points. But yeah, both players did an awesome job of keeping us entertained with this game. I mean, honestly, this is just a lot of good eternal action, huh? I would say. I mean, this was really fun. A lot of cards access, a lot of things happening, a lot of flatlining. I'm wondering, are we trying to get them in, or are we calling this a day? I don't know. Whatever you feel like. I don't know. Whatever you feel like. I'm open to any suggestions. I will let the tournament organizer decide.
I'd say let's just ask Asker whether he wants to join the stream, and we can still have a word with him. But otherwise, I mean, it's still your stream, so it's up to you.
I don't own anything. This is the internet. It's everybody's. So Well, whatever we're gonna do, I just wanted to thank both of my co-commentators, so Lost Geek and Simply the Onion here, responsible as well for this Eternal format the way it is right now. I could also sing a song. No, I cannot sing a song. And we're just going to take a quick look. So I'll let the TO doing the TOing and maybe asking the finalists or the winner or whatever the TO decides to do about potential jumping onto the stream. I'm not gonna be singing. Pinzel had the points idea apparently. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the whole bunch of people looking at things and deciding. You did an amazing job of making a completely broken format. A bit less. No, I'm kidding. Not broken. To quote Simply the Onion, it's all about points. So a very unregulated format to make it a bit more regulated and a bit more, I don't know, like viable to enjoy, I guess, because the different costs do cut combos. I was trying to build a PU deck in Eternal. I was like, oh no, this is just not enough points. I will come back one day. I'm telling you. I'm thinking. There's gonna be.
I do think there are viable lists, but the points, especially in that archetype, are really restricted.
Yeah, I noticed.
Askar is actually asking how to join the comment.
Oh yeah, just you know, this is happening right now. I just have to do the wild thing of assigning roles and whatnot. Here we go. I'm just gonna drag. You can drag him over to this thing. I think it worked. Should be able to see things.
I don't think he's still around, so we can
wait,
just pull him.
Yeah, you can just pull him in. Yeah, there he is.
Oh, there he is.
There he is. Is this your Smurf account? Yeah, it's working. Is this your Smurf account on Discord now? Sorry.
Yes.
To ask. Hello, Asger. Great to have you with us. Woof. I'm just saying, what a day, huh?
Yeah. Eternal is one of a kind thing.
I'm just gonna do the best thing ever that I can do. I'm going to let you all speak Eternal or about Eternal or what you think about what just happened, how you prepared and all that stuff. Do your own thing, and I'm just gonna shut up because there's enough of you here to carry the conversation in a very interesting way. So go for it. And I'm just gonna start with one question. Why Gagarin?
Oh, because it's nuts. Mumbai City Hall, fetching infinite recursion that you can't really do anything about is pretty ludicrous. And especially, I didn't really do a lot of it in the final, but you consulting visit is an alliance card, so you actually have access to all of your operations all the time, as long as you have a Mumbai City Hall on the board. For instance, I'm only playing one hard hitting news because you just put it back with Museum of History and then play it over and over again. And
we've definitely seen a lot of runners trying to control your board, and Wizard especially was able to do a pretty good job of it. But even in this case, Liza spent a lot of time and a lot of credits and a lot of missed bone credits, for example, to treasure assets, and you still have how many servers on the board now? 9?
Yeah, it's 9.
Yeah,
servers.
Something like but it's basically impossible unless you're Wizard with. Like, my runner choice was I went and did the thing that you probably shouldn't do, where you just tech for your own decks.
It's classic.
Yeah. Like, just Wizard, Desperado, draw cards, and crowdfundings. Hope to keep the Gagarin deck in check.
I mean, you and your testing partners did represent a significant part of the field.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, you all got matched against each other, right?
Oh, true, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Do you have any hot takes on the points list in general? Like, after playing this, do you think Mumbet should be like more points, or something else should be pointed?
Rumor Mill is ridiculously cheap. Especially if you look at the corp list, how much stuff you can spend points on, and then Rumor Mill just blanks it for one. Like Moons, Caprice, Void, Jackson, Spin Doctor. I can't remember the entire list, but I think Rumor
I mean, you
Mill
don't need
needs
to
be.
like name all the uniques right now, but yeah, like a lot of the important ones
yeah.
are covered.
The good cards are unique in Netrunner, almost.
Yeah, I mean that's to be expected. That's how you try to balance them. Ain't that right?
Yeah.
Pavilion.
Yeah, exactly. I don't. It's link balancing Eternal is a pretty daunting task. I like there's lots
Yeah.
of stuff you can do. I think basically this tournament was about finding the decks that didn't get hit very hard by the point system. So like take for Gagarin for instance, you pick Mumbai City Hall, which you have to play, and then you just have you can choose free between all the other points. If you're playing like Jinteki, Potential Unleashed, for instance, you have to all your key cards are on the list actually.
I do think like Potential Unleashed was definitely an easy target, whereas this kind of deck went under the radars a bit because people just there was enough fun stuff to try out that I think Gagarin was not tested as much, and I think this shows that there needs to be something to be done here because. But do you actually think that Mumbai City Hall itself is a problem? Or do you rather think that the constellation of all of these are problematic?
Oh, good question. Mumbai City Hall is very, very, very good. Yeah, I don't know. It's like the synergy between having the recursion and the ability to not only fetch it from your deck but also install it in one click it probably needs to get hit a little more because there's also it's also you can't really get rid of it, right? Because of friends in high places, and on top of that you're playing ridiculously expensive ice to break, and the rest cost is
minuscule most of the time.
Yeah, exactly. Tour guide and Hive. I guess I have the Autumn Rest, which was a last minute include.
Yeah,
which also was unbreakable in this game.
Yeah, talking about like general fun things and things that weren't hit, is there like an archetype you were expecting to show up that didn't, or was at least underrepresented?
Maybe Diaper? I didn't see a lot of Diaper.
I think the Sangren was on Diaper, but yeah, I think that's the only Diaper pilot so far, at least that we've seen on stream. And I think there were only two. No, actually, there were three Shapers around. I'm not sure if the second Haley we actually, unfortunately, didn't catch that deck on stream. I'm not sure if that was also Diaper.
I mean, that's a good question. It could also be Laguna, Lock Haley. Yeah. I guess Near Earth Hop in general, like some kind of other yellow thing other than Harpsichord.
That is true. Yellow was pretty underrepresented. I was actually, when I was playing in casual, I was always on Near Earth Hub, which was, most of the time it was very fun. Probably would have also folded very hard to your type of wizard deck.
Yeah, but I went way too all in on NTS and stuff.
Yeah, how was that Scorpius matchup? Oh wait, that was actually Percomus who was playing that. On stream,
that was Percomus. But I think quite a few players got to play against the Scorpius today. And I think that was what I told you this morning as well, that this wizard list really dealt well with all the asset decks, but maybe has gone too much down that road. But I think that's also... I think that also shows that this list just needs some time and the meta to just evolve naturally. I would hope that other players and other, especially other TOs, start doing tournaments in this format, and I also know that the Off the Grid tournament will have a pretty decent representation of Eternal. So I would just hope. I don't think there will be an update too soon, because I think that these kinds of things need time to shake out. But expect this to be one in the set of data points that might lead to some of these cards, especially cards like Rumor Mill and the alliance card
Yeah.
that you end up getting on the points list.
Yeah, maybe some Techme stuff. I don't know. The Techme stuff is already there. It's
Yeah, but
Yeah, there's.
yeah.
I mean, the usual flow is we have a starting tournament, which this obviously is, where a certain strategy like this Mogek deck shows up, and the second tournament most likely will be a lot of people bringing this, and a counter reaction of people to it, and then in the third tournament, then you have the third tournament, which once again probably brings something new.
Yeah.
I also kind of feel like this Lysa deck already was pretty well set up, and in this case just happened to draw out of resources to to be able to survive.
I would have lost.
Yeah, I do think that there is a tech war to be had here between the Tag Me decks and the Kill decks.
Yeah, for sure.
We will see a lot of self-growth program in the future, I feel.
I was also... Sorry,
the very last change I did to my to the Gagarin list was I took out All Seeing Eye and put in Blacklist, because Blacklist was very good against my Wizard deck that I have been playing against all afternoon. Because you blank both crowdfunding and Blue Moose, which is essentially the only econ in the Wizard list.
A
I also
attacking against your own decks.
Yeah. Also, I thought Malia's look might be a fun counter to the paparazzi lists.
I was actually mentioning that during the final.
Oh, yeah, excellent. Yeah. I sat there thinking, I wish I had Malia.
But also, funnily enough, we learned that Malia is a Bioroid and therefore cannot be tutored with any of her cards.
Oh, really?
I guess unless it's a text starter, but it's not in SysOp, it's not a character, and it's not an executive, so that's a problem.
How's it not a character?
Yeah, exactly. I was also very confused by that.
Yeah.
I guess there are too many Amalia copies out there, which is quite the scary prospect.
That's true.
Yeah, it's not a unique character. That's a good argument. I like that.
Yeah. But I think it's also like this tech war thing, and there being so many decks in internal is part of the charm that you go in, you have your game plan, and some matchups you really win, and other matchups you really lose. And I think that will just be the nature of Eternal, right? Like, if you're good at dealing with assets, you have a lot of cards against assets, but you'll probably lose to pretty much any Glacier deck or like the Harpsichord list, my Wizard against the Harpsichord list. I literally cannot break Mother Goddess, and I have nothing against mid-seasons. So that was a pretty bleak moment for Wizard.
Yeah, I was having similar problems in deck building. I had like a freedom list, which was insane against all of these asset decks. But once I ran into some sort of MTI list, I could just like scoop after turn 1 probably.
Yeah. Like you make one run and empty does empty, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, one more thing I wanted to ask you is, why didn't you play that Asa list you played against me on Janet Casual? I loved seeing that list. I was actually hoping it would show up in tournament.
I hadn't thought about the Gagarin list when I made that. So when I got the idea for the Gagarin list, it was just newer and more exciting, I think.
Yeah, something new and shiny came along.
Yeah, exactly. But the Asa list was also fun. Although a little fiddly.
We saw in tournament you play something fairly similar out of sports, but obviously also utilizing Game Changer and stuff like that. But the general game plan of Breaker Bay and Estelle and the other thing, just where to score out points.
Yeah. Yeah, it was also. Yeah.
What?
No, it was nothing. It's just.
Okay. I think this is kind of a good point to end this discussion, which can probably go on endlessly. And, I would really like to thank Vespa for streaming this and for setting everything up and for fighting with all the cables that plugged and unplugged themselves somehow in and off of JNet. And thanks for everyone who joined us and who watched, who played. This was an amazing evening for me, and I guess morning for others. And I hope that this format sees a lot more play in the future.
Yeah, same here. Thanks for having me, Vesper, and thanks for organizing, Losky.
Yeah, thank you for organizing.
Yeah,
I wonder-
indeed. Oh, sorry, go on.
Yeah, no. I
No.
also want to just thank Simply the Onion for co-commentating here as well. This was really good to have around because I need to jump from role to role at some points.
Absolutely, and I will confess it one more time on stream. I know next to nothing about a ton of cards in Eternal because guess what? I did play them at some point, but as as a package of all the cards together, it just bends my mind backwards and breaks it. So, huge thanks for everybody participating today in any way whatsoever. Playing, organizing, co-commentating and whatnot. A reminder that tomorrow there will be another long day of Netrunner or evening or whatever. We're gonna start it at time. Well, but never mind. This is getting late. I'm talking over myself. So huge thanks to all my guests today and all my co-hosts. You've done an amazing job. Well, I wish you all a good night because we're all in the same more or less time zone. And yeah, I will not ask for any last words because that would go on eternally. And anyway, that's...
It's not broken, it just costs points.
I think, Losky, if you ever make like stickers or something for, to promote the format, or you should use it as a tagline. It's not broken, it costs points.
That is a really good idea. We should
Brilliant.
think about that.
Totally. I mean, amazing good marketing skills. Yeah. Really looking forward to the next iteration of the listen and seeing how OTG plays out as well, because that's going to be a different meta as well a bit. People are probably going to be cribbing from the decks that are going to get published. It's going to be fun. So yeah, Eternal is reborn. Although Andy, we hear in the chat, it's not doing that well. But Andy's going to come back because the list is not set in stone, indeed. So yeah, maybe some points will shift. Who knows? But with that, I'm jumping out of the Discord. Thank you so much. And I'm going to be... well, sooner or later, finishing this. Right now, I'm going to be finishing it right now, folks. Thank you so much for being super patient with all the technical issues, because, let's be honest, tomorrow is a big day too, and things should work. I'm going to be tweaking cables and whatnot, and nudging things around, but I don't know. Maybe I just have to... who would be a good sysop to talk to? Midori? No, what is his... There was this other person. One of the NBN ones? I don't know. The twins. I mean, anything worth doing is worth doing twice, right? That was a tagline. So yeah, and anything worth streaming is worth streaming twice. So I hope tomorrow is going to work better than some parts of today. But you've been an absolutely lovely bunch of people to stream for and stream with and stream if you were playing. Huge thanks to everybody for being a part of this. This was really cool. I might actually even enjoy Eternal. No, I'm kidding, of course. Eternal is great. It just costs points. Anyway, folks, have a great, brilliant evening, morning, afternoon, what have you. I shall leave you with a final track by none other than Trip Mirror, of course, who has been our local cyber minstrel for quite a while on the stream. And I'm gonna be heading out to my crash space, so let's just leave crash space on, maybe, because that's a cool one. Or yeah, anyway. Have a good one. Talk to you soon. Tomorrow we're going Intercontinental Championing. So good luck to everybody trying to stream. What am I saying? Sleep tonight in peace, because tomorrow is gonna be High Octane Netrunner again. Ciao. Basically just leaving right now, leaving you to it with a bit of music. Have a good one.